A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the life of Mary Sothern. Mary's faith that Max Sanders is still with her is unshaken, although weeks have passed since his death. Following his voice, which no one else could hear, she was guided to the city of Craig's Falls and befriended by a young man named David. In the shabby boarding house run by Mrs. McPherson, Mary found contentment until her old friend, Dr. John Benson, informed of her whereabouts by Father Brady, arrived to take her back to Sanders. When John urged her to go home, Mary refused hysterically and was calmed only when David arrived. John, thinking Mary would change her mind in the morning, tried again yesterday to persuade her to go back. And when he failed, turned to David in despair. David, feeling that John might be right, reluctantly promised that for Mary's sake, he would urge her to go back to Sanders. Now it is an hour later, an hour which Mary and David have spent walking around the city in troubled silence. They had just reached a bench in the little park near the boarding house, as David says,
"Hey, this bench feels good to me. We must have walked miles."
I didn't notice how far we'd walked.
No, neither did I. I was thinking
And worrying, David. That's why I wanted to sit down. I wanted to talk to you before we went home. You are worried about something, aren't you?
Yes, Mary.
You want to tell me about it? Could I help?
Well, it's about you.
About me?
Yes.
Why, David? Why, I'm almost happy now that I've decided to stay here in Craig's Falls.
Are you happy here?
Oh, yes. There's so many things I want to do here. And Father Brady needs help at the settlement house, and I know I can do so much for those poor people.
Yes, but you think it's best for you to stay here in Craig's Falls. After all, your home is in Sanders, your friends, everything familiar to you.
But that's not true. Sanders isn't familiar to me now. It belongs to another life.
But your friends, what about them? What about John Benson?
John? He belongs to that other life. A life to which I can never return. John is someone I used to know in another world.
Mary, don't you think you might feel differently if you did go back to Sanders? You might be happier among your old friends.
No, I know I can't go back to Sanders. It's as though the past were a dream. This life here is real. And you're the only person in it, David.
Mary.
David, I know my meeting you wasn't just chance. I think it was destined.
Yes, but...
What made you go down to the waterfront the night you found me? Why did you talk to me? Why did you take me to Mrs. McPherson's?
Well, I had to take you home. I wanted to take care of you. I don't know why, but I feel as you do, as though the elect had happened.
You see, David? We wouldn't both feel that if it weren't true.
There's a divinity that shapes our engines. Rough hew them how we will.
Yes. That expresses how I feel, David. You always understand. As though it were part of a plan that we had nothing to do with. We couldn't have escaped it if we tried.
Yes, I know. I feel that, too.
And being a stranger to me, the minute I met you, I thought I'd known you.
And you always, too.
Do you, David?
Yes.
I wish I could remember. You're like someone I used to know, but I...
Mary, you know, you don't remind me of anyone I've ever known, but everything about you is familiar. Your eyes, your hair, and the way you speak.
The way I speak, David.
Yes, what is it?
For a minute, I almost remembered. No, it slipped away again. I wish I knew.
Do I remind you of your husband? Am I like Max Sanders?
No. No, you're not a bit like Max, David. must be someone else, but I can't think who.
Perhaps someday you'll remember. It'll come to you suddenly, I'm sure. Don't try to think about it now.
You're so comforting. I feel so safe with you.
Mary,
Yes.
I don't want to mention this again, but are you sure it's best for you to stay here in Craig's Falls? Wouldn't it even be happier if you went home to Sanders?
So that's what you've been trying to tell me. You want me to do.
No, Mary, no. I want you to stay here. Only...
I didn't expect that. I thought you wanted me to stay.
But I do, Mary, I do.
You sound as though you do want me to, David. And yet, if you really do, well, there's something new.
What do you mean?
Something terribly wrong. Max told me to stay here and said it was right for me to go home with you that night, that I could trust you and that my future was here in Craig's Falls. And yet, if you want me to leave...
But I don't want you to go. That's why I've been so miserable all afternoon. I had to talk to you about it because, well, I felt that maybe Dr. Benson was right. After all, he's known you for a long time, and he's your doctor.
David, you've been talking to John. He asked you to persuade me to go back to Sanders. Is that why you've been urging me to go?
After all, he might be right.
Now I understand. John made you believe I'd be happier in Sanders.
Well, he seemed so sure of it that I had to listen.
No, David, he isn't right. Believe me, John doesn't understand. That's why I don't want to talk to him. He listened to me, and I know he's wrong. I know I can't go back to Sanders. I won't ever go back.
Have you time to talk to me, Father?
I always have time for that, David. Come in.
Well, I need your advice again.
About Mary, David?
Yes. You know, this morning I had a long talk with Dr. Benson. He admitted there was nothing more that he could do to persuade Mary to return to Sanders, and he asked me to try.
You, David?
Yes.
What'd you tell him?
Well, at first I refused. I told him it was up to Mary, and that I certainly wouldn't urge her to leave.
I'm inclined to believe you're right. Mary was so unhappy at the suggestion that she return, and I'm beginning to think it might be unwise to send her back to Sanders.
That's exactly what I told Dr. Benson. But then he accused me of using my influence to keep her here.
That isn't true, David. I know you haven't tried to influence her.
Of course I haven't. But Dr. Benson is convinced that Mary would go if I asked her to. And that for Mary's sake, I should urge her to go. He said he knew that when she was back in Sanders, she'd be happier.
Dr. Benson is very insistent about that, isn't he?
He was so insistent that I finally promised to talk to Mary. After all, he's her doctor. He's known her for so many years. I thought he might be right.
Yes, he may be right. Did you talk to Mary, David?
Yes, and I did my best to keep my promise to Dr. Benson, but when Mary asked me if I wanted her to go, I couldn't lie, could I, Father? I couldn't say that I wanted her to leave Craig's Falls.
No, lying won't help, David.
And she looked so hurt when she asked me that. Mary trusts me, Father. She relies on me, and I can't let her down.
I understand. And I don't believe you'd help Mary by making her think you wanted to leave Craig's Falls.
I'm glad you said that, Father. That's the way I feel, too. But it only hurt her if she thought I didn't want her to stay.
Have you talked to Dr. Benson since you saw Mary, David?
No, I wanted to talk to you first. I know you won't believe it. I really tried to persuade her.
I don't want Dr. Benson to think you're trying to keep her here.
No, neither do I. I thought maybe if you talked to him, you could make him understand that I want Mary to do what's best for her.
I'll try, David. I'll talk to Dr. Benson.
Thanks.
And I might talk to Mary, too. I have an idea. A compromise solution.
Yes, what do you mean, Paul?
Perhaps we could persuade Mary to return to Sanders just for a few days on the understanding that it's only a visit.
No, I'm afraid it won't work. Both Dr. Benson and I have suggested that, but I'm grateful to you for talking to her anyway.
I'll see her tonight, David.
You know, it's strange, Father. Mary's the only person I've ever known who's needed me, and I'd like to help her. But if I'm doing more harm than good, as Dr. Benson seems to think, well, I've got to send her away or step out of the picture myself.
You have helped Mary, and Dr. Benson knows it as well as I do. He's admitted that to me.
If he admits that,
He does, David.
then I'm beginning to wonder if there isn't some reason behind his insistence that Mary return to Sanders. Some reason which he hasn't admitted, and which he doesn't want us to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
Detective Sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. In the past 5 weeks, an unidentified holdup man has robbed 12 drugstores. He's taken money and narcotics. There's no lead to who he is or where he is. Your job, find him.
It was Tuesday, March 16th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief Detective Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 9:36 a.m. when we got to the corner of Hobart Boulevard and Westmoreland. Petitioner Drugstore.
In the back.
Yeah.
Something you want?
Yes, sir. We'd like to see Harry Tishner.
Yeah, I'm him.
Police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hello.
How you do, sir?
About the robbery, huh?
Would you like to tell us what happened?
I was robbed.
We'd just like you to tell us how.
Oh, now I'm with you. Yeah, I'm right with you. Let's go back and sit down. Get to telling the story, and time just melts away.
Yes, sir.
Might as well be comfortable while we all fall out.
Yes, sir. This all right here?
Yeah. Like a phosphate or something?
No, sir.
No, thanks, sir. Okay. And let's quit all this fooling around and get down to business. Want me to tell you about the holdup?
Yes, sir. We'd like that.
Good. That's just what I'm going to do.
Go ahead.
Aren't you going to take anything down, right?
Well, yes, sir, as soon as you tell us the story now, if you'd like to start in.
Well, came in about 8.
That was this morning?
Yes. Just walked right in the door, came back to the prescription counter, and stood there.
Mm-hmm.
Had this little piece of paper in his hand. I figured it was from a doctor, prescribed medicine.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't.
Well, go ahead. What was it?
Note. Written on there like this. This is a stick-up. Don't make any noise.
It was a note, huh?
Just pushed the note across the counter. I didn't have to have anybody push me off a cliff to know what was going on.
No, sir.
I was being robbed.
Yes, sir. Do you want to go ahead?
Well, after he showed me the note, he kind of pushed me back into the little room at the rear of the store. Kind of store place.
Now, did he say anything to you at all?
Not a word. Just pointed with that gun for me to get into the back room. I went.
I see. What happened then?
He pushed me down to the floor and then tied my hands and feet.
What did he use?
You mean to tie me up?
Yes, sir.
Rope.
Oh. Well, did he bring it into the store with him?
No, sir. He picked it up in household on his way back to the prescription counter.
I see. Go ahead, please.
As soon as we got to the storeroom, he took off the label and then undid the rope. He made a loop and put it around my feet. Next thing I knew, I was all trussed up like a rolled roast, ready for the oven.
Yes, sir.
I'll say one thing for the guy, though.
What's that?
He's very neat. He tied good knots.
Yes, sir.
Other officers, the ones in the black and white car,
Yes, sir.
Them.
Yeah, what about them?
Oh, yeah. Well, they took the ropes with them. They said something about taking them to a laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can see if you want to. It's very neat.
Yes, sir. What happened after the bandit tied you up?
Robbed me.
You personally?
Yes, personally and otherwise.
Well, sir, would you please tell us?
Well, first off, he went to the safe and took the tin box out. Opened it right up and took the money.
Is that all he stole from the cash box?
Yeah. I had some government bonds in there, but he didn't take those.
Uh-huh.
Guess he knew they wouldn't do him any good.
All right, sir.
He didn't take them. Took the money, but didn't take the government bonds.
According to what you told the officers this morning, the thief took a supply of narcotics, too. Is that correct?
Yes, he got them from the safe, too.
Well, now, after he finished with the safe, what happened?
He left. He walked out of the place. He just ambled right out.
During the time he was in the store, he didn't say anything at all. Is that right?
Did anybody else come in while he was here?
You mean like a customer?
Yes, sir.
No. Oh, excuse me.
That might be our office, Mr. Tishner. We left this number.
Okay. If it is, I'll tell you.
Thank you.
Tishner Drugs. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, Mrs. Kentworthy. Uh-huh. No, shouldn't be. Uh-huh. No, I can't do that. If you have your doctor call me, I'll make it up and send it over. Yeah. No, not without a prescription. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I'll call you when it's ready then, and you can send Lanny over. Right. Bye, Mrs. Kentworthy. Huh? Oh, well, if that's the way you feel, I won't. Oh, sure. Okay. Goodbye. Yeah, I can't imagine why she'd say a thing like that. Just no reason at all.
Sir?
Mrs. Kentworthy. told me when the son comes over to get the prescription not to give him any candy.
Oh, I see.
I usually throw in a licorice whip, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want me to do it. That's too bad.
Yes, sir. Wonder if we could go ahead with the description.
Sure, I guess so.
Well, now, from what you told the investigating officers, the man's about 35 to 38. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Light in color, 5 feet 10, 175 pounds, no visible marks or scars. Is that right?
Well, I guess that's pretty close.
Well, if there's anything different, we'd appreciate you telling us now.
No, not with you. Because I can't understand why Mrs. Cantwell would say a thing like that. Just a penny licorice whip. Little bitty thing.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Like that. Couldn't hurt anybody.
Yes, sir. Would you be able to identify the hold-up man if you saw him again?
Oh, yeah, no trouble. I'd know it.
Uh-huh.
He'd never say a thing like that.
Sir?
The fellow who robbed me.
What do you mean?
Oh, on the way out, the way I was laying, I saw him stop. Right up there with the Canyon magazine. Stopped dead in his tracks. He went over and helped himself.
Mm-hmm.
Took the top off and helped himself to a handful. Sure must like 'em.
What was that, sir?
Licorice whips. Just reached into the jar and took a handful.
After that, he left. Is that right?
Yeah. As soon as he put his gloves back on.
What was that?
Couldn't work the top of the jar with the gloves, so he took them off.
No.
Used his bare hands.
10:02 a.m. Frank put in a call to Harlan Stahl and latent fingerprints. We asked him to come out and go over the glass candy jar. While we waited for him, Frank and I checked the list of stolen narcotics with the druggist, Harry Tishner. We also made arrangements for him to come downtown and look through the mug books. When the glass candy jar was checked, Harlan Stahl was able to come up with 2 partial prints. They were enough for comparison, but not for identification. 11:15 a.m. Frank and I left the store and spent the rest of the afternoon checking out the list of names we'd gotten from the stats office. Several of the possibles looked good, but after each one of them was investigated, we still didn't have a suspect in custody. Wednesday morning, March 17th, at 8:06 a.m., Frank and I met in the squad room.
Morning, Joe.
Hi.
Tried to call you this morning. Thought maybe you'd want to stop and have some breakfast.
No, I left the house early.
Uh-huh.
Did you check the book?
Yeah.
Anything?
Skipper wants to talk to us.
Oh, I figured that had happened. Is he in now?
Yeah.
Well, come on, let's get it over with.
Come in. Yeah, that's right. No, not yet. I'm going to try and line it up this afternoon. Yeah, I'll call you back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're here right now. Bye.
You want to see us, Captain?
Yeah, come in, sit down. Going in, I won't tell you who's on my back about this thing, and you don't give me any excuses, right?
Sure.
Where are you?
Still in front of the first store.
That's how long ago?
It's been 5 weeks.
What do you know about him?
WMA, description, closed.
Match on all the jobs?
Close enough so we know it's the same guy.
Okay, what else?
He uses a stolen car to get to the store. He drives it away. Isn't too careful to hide the license plate. We've been able to come up with 3 out of the 5.
Check the cars out?
Yeah, clean. Not a print on them. Nothing else.
Picked up something yesterday. Should help when we nail him.
What's that?
Well, Stahl listed a couple of partials from a candy jar. That'll be enough for comparison.
Can't make the suspect on him, huh?
No, it's not enough to classify.
What about the narcotics he's taking? You show up anyplace?
No, not that we can find. We've been down all the alleys. There's nothing there. Talked to Lucarelli. Hop squad's got nothing on it.
If none of it's showing up, then it could mean he's using the stuff himself.
That's what we got figured.
How about the stats office?
We spend much more time down there. They're going to put us to work with the machines.
Informants?
Well, they've given us smiles. That's about all.
You think they're holding?
No.
Come over here. Take a look at the map. The way he's picking the places, he's set up a pretty definite operating schedule. Here, Venice Boulevard, Kingsley Drive, Western, Adams, Washington, the rest of them. They're all grouped in this area.
Yeah.
You got to figure he's going to keep working the vicinity until he hits them all. Then maybe he'll move on to something else.
It might help if we could come up with a reason that he's working there.
Anything you can come up with has got to help.
Yeah, we know.
If it's true that he's been using the narcotics himself, it's just a matter of time before we hand this one over to homicide. He's going to walk into a store, somebody's going to give him trouble. If he's on the needle, he isn't going to take it.
Yeah.
So it adds up to a big stop. The past.
Well, if we work the area, it's going to take a lot of men, you know.
We'll get him. I've talked to Stoner. He's taking care of all the help you need from here. There'll be 4 teams available. You can call Metro Division for whatever else you need.
All right, we'll set it up for tonight, then.
Check with communications. Make sure you got the 3 ways working.
Right.
This guy's been pressing his luck for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm bound to run short on it sometime. Robbery, Donahoe. Yeah. When? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll take care of him. Looks looks like you just got partners.
What do you mean?
Your boy just made it 13, drugstore out on Pico.
Yeah?
They don't expect the victim to live.
Frank and I left the office and drove over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. We talked with the officer on duty. He told us that the victim's name was George Rayler. He owned a small neighborhood drugstore at the corner of Pico Boulevard and Vineyard Avenue. He went on to say that he didn't have all of the particulars of the beating, but that it had occurred during the commission of a robbery. We talked to Dr. Sebastian. He told us that the elderly man was suffering from a fractured skull, broken ribs, and possible internal injuries. He added that from Rayler's appearance, it looked as if he'd been beaten about the head and shoulders with a heavy instrument and then kicked in the chest. We left word to call as soon as he could be questioned, then we drove over to the store on Pico.
Yes, there's something I can do for you?
Police officers.
Oh, how's Mr. Rayler? You seen him?
No, we haven't, Judge.
You heard anything? Is he going to be all right?
Well, we don't know that yet.
I sure hope so. Yeah, the guy who hit him sure did a job. Just beat him something awful.
Yeah, we know.
Not enough just hitting him, but then he knocked him down and stomped him. Awful.
You hear when it happened?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
You want to tell us what happened?
You mean for the investigation?
That's right.
Okay.
You want to give us your name first?
Calvin Webster.
You work here in the store, do you, son?
Yeah, that's right. Sort of a general left hand.
What was that?
Well, you see, Mrs. Rayler's his right hand. I'm the left.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She wasn't here today, and down having her hair fixed. Probably just as good.
All right, Webster. You want to tell us?
Well, fellow came in about 8:30, right after we opened. He came in and went back to the prescription counter. I was going back to tell him that Mr. Rayler would be right out, and then he was.
Rayler?
Yeah, he was back checking the stock on vitamin pills. We do a big business in them. I have to have a pretty careful watch on the supply. Wouldn't want to get caught short.
All right, go ahead.
Well, the fellow, the holdup man, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
We took this little piece of paper out of his coat. I figured it was a prescription. Looked like it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't. It turned out to be the note where he said he wanted the money.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the note?
Well, not so as I can read it. First I knew there was something wrong when Mr. Rayler started to yell at the guy. Told him to get out of the store, ran around the counter and tried to grab him.
Mm-hmm.
Yelling all the time for me to call the police. Call the cops. Call the cops, like that he yelled at me.
What'd you do?
I looked to see if I had a dime.
What?
Well, you see, in the past, Mr. Rayler's had trouble with people making phone calls on a private phone, so he had one of those little lock things put on it. You can answer incoming calls, but you can't phone out.
I see.
So I needed a dime to call the cops.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have one. Only 75 cents for my lunch, a half and a quarter.
I see.
Well, all this time, Mr. Rayler's yelling. He's yelling, and the robber's hitting him. I didn't know what to do.
Uh-huh.
I thought about running back and trying to help, but Mr. Rayler don't like for nobody to do something different than what he says.
Yeah.
He told me to phone.
Yeah, sure.
Well, then all of a sudden, bang, the fella hit Mr. Rayler with a gun. Took it right out of his pocket and hit him on the head. Next thing, Mr. Rayler's on the floor, and this fella's stomping him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I couldn't just stand by no more, so I went back to help. Too late.
What was that?
Well, it was too late. Mr. Rayler was on the floor, and this guy was pointing the gun at me and was leaving the store. I didn't see how it'd help any to try and stop him.
Mm-hmm. Was there anybody else in the store at the time?
No, just Mr. Rayler and me. We just opened up. Still kind of getting ready for the day.
Did you get a good look at this guy?
Oh, yeah. I saw him good.
All right, then you'll be able to give us a description.
Yeah, I'll tell you how he looked.
Did you see if he drove the car?
I guess so.
But don't you know for sure?
Well, no, I didn't go out after him. I figured that it'd take somebody a lot bigger than me to stop him. Besides, I had to take care of Mr. Rayler.
I see. Did you see the gun he was using?
Yeah, I got a real good look at it when he was sitting the boss.
That's fine. What kind of a gun was it?
A pistol, you know, like you see in the movies.
Now, look, son, was it a revolver or an automatic?
I think it was a revolver. It had a barrel on it. Short. About that long?
Uh-huh.
We'd like you to come downtown and look at some pictures, if you would.
At the city hall?
That's right.
I'll be glad to help out as soon as Mrs. Rayler comes back. I'll go with you.
All right, fine.
I can't leave the store alone, you know.
Uh-huh. You want to give us the description of the man now?
You bet. Sure hope you catch the fella.
So do we.
This is the same guy I've been reading about in the papers?
That's right.
He's mean. Real mean, doing a thing like that to Mr. Rayler.
Yeah, we know.
Been getting away with it for a long time, hasn't he? Just like a guy running up a big bill.
That's right, and he'll pay it. As soon as someone arrived to take care of the drugstore, we took Calvin Webster down to the city hall. He was shown all of the mug books and pictures of recent parolees. He was unable to make an identification. We had him returned to his home, and then Frank and I checked with Dr. Sebastian over at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. He told us that the latest victim had been transferred to the county hospital and was out of the critical stage. He went on to say, however, that it would be several hours before we'd be able to talk to him. We checked with Captain Donahoe and Lieutenant Stoner. We also contacted officers from Metropolitan Division and made arrangements for the additional cars that we need in setting up the rolling stakeout. That night at 7:30 p.m., the plan was put into operation. 10 undercover cars maintained a watch on the drugstores in the area. All suspicious vehicles were checked on. All pedestrians loitering in the vicinity were interrogated. Our suspect remained free. 3 days went by without result. The bandit had stopped his operations. On Sunday, March 21st, Frank and I were driving up Western Avenue just north of Pico.
What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe after he had that trouble with Rayler, he decided to call it quits.
Doesn't figure.
Huh?
Guy that's had the breaks he has not going to let something like a beating stop him.
Well, hope you're right.
All units on frequency 1, stand by. All units on frequency 1, stand by.
It might be a good one.
Yeah.
Stand by 1J14. All units in the vicinity of 1947 Wilson Place. 1947 Wilson Place. An officer needs help, code 3. All units in the vicinity of 1947 Wilson Place. An officer needs help, code 3.
You got the lens?
Yeah, here you are.
Think it might be our boy?
We'll know in a minute. An officer needs help. Of all the calls in the book, this is the one that no officer wants to get. Not because of an outdone sense of loyalty to a fellow police officer, but because it means that somebody has decided that lawful authority has no meaning for them. Such a person is an extreme menace to every citizen in the city. By showing that they have no respect for the competence of an armed professional officer, they have also shown that they will not consider for an instant the life of an unarmed citizen. By the time we arrived at the scene, there were 14 police units in attendance. From one of the officers, we got the story.
Unit was working the street, saw this young guy run out of the liquor store, stopped to see what was going on.
Yeah?
Told the fellow to stop. Didn't make any difference.
Kept going, huh?
Yeah. Officer in the car told him to stop or he'd shoot, and the suspect turned around and fired at the policeman.
How is he?
Flesh wound.
What about the suspect?
Well, he didn't get the chance to fire more than twice.
That him over there?
Yeah.
Anything from the owner of the liquor store?
Well, just that the suspect tried to hold him up. He walked in, showed him a note. The owner went along with it, handed over the money, and then the suspect left. That's it.
Better take a look.
Yeah.
Well, it might be a break.
It's a hard way to get it, isn't
Yeah.
it? I'll take a look.
How about it?
I can't tell for sure.
Huh?
Description doesn't match too good.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's our suspect.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The wounded police officer was taken to Judge Street Receiving Hospital for treatment. The suspect was removed to the county morgue. Pictures were taken, and when they were shown to the victims of the drugstore bandit, they all said he was not the man we were after. The rolling stakeout continued without result. During the next week, we answered several 211 calls in drugstores, but the M.O. the thief used eliminated him as our suspect. Thursday, March 25th, Frank and I checked into the squad room.
How's it going, Joe?
We're kind of tired.
Yeah. We'll get this one wrapped up, and I'm going to try to take a few days off.
Okay. Robbery Friday. Yes, that's right. No, we're handling. But when was that? All right, would you like to give me that address? All right, yes, I have it. We'll check it out. Might be something in it. Thanks for letting us know. Right. What was that? No, if it turns out, we'll let you know. Right. Thanks again. Bye.
What do you got?
Call from a radio unit out in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They answered to 415 this morning. The woman and her husband were having a brawl.
Uh-huh.
The man had left when the officers got there. The woman refused to make a complaint.
She placed the original call?
No, it came from one of the neighbors.
Uh-huh.
When the officers were leaving, the woman said she'd handle the beef herself, said she'd take care of her husband, called him a lousy hold-up man.
Yeah.
She made the statement she could put him in San Quentin inside of 5 minutes.
Well, if he's the guy we're looking for, I don't think we can do it that fast.
No, we can sure try. We left the office and drove out to the address I'd gotten on the phone. It was a small one-story house set well back on the lot. When we got there, the lights were on. Frank and I went up to the front door and rang the bell.
Yeah,
Miss Kearney?
that's right.
Police officers like to talk to you.
What about?
Might be better if we talked inside.
All right.
It's my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How you do?
Right.
You alone here in the house?
Just the baby and me.
I see. Where's your husband?
Look, before I start telling you a lot, why don't you let me know what this is all about?
We got a report from a radio car that there was a disturbance here this morning. Is that right?
Wasn't anything. Me and Keith had a beef. Not even worth calling the cops about.
The officer said you made the remark that your husband was a hold-up man, that you could send him to prison. Is that right?
They talk a lot, don't they?
They listen more, lady.
You want to tell us what you meant?
Yeah?
Well, go ahead.
You go back and tell the little boys in the play suits they're wrong on this one.
Is that so?
Yeah, because I meant nothing. Nothing at all.
Pretty serious thing to say without a reason, though, isn't it?
This morning I had a reason.
What, you want to tell us what it was?
I don't see why not. You cops start nosing around, you'll find out anyway. I got trouble with my old man.
What kind of trouble?
He's out with other women. Didn't come home last night. We had a beef about it. The cops were called and they used their big ears. You guys made the trip out here for nothing. Now beat it. Now look what you've done. He's playing fine, and you come in here and raise a big stink. You got him all upset.
I'll get it. Hey, here you are, fella. Hey, no reason to cry.
What's your husband's full name?
Keith J. Kearney.
How long you lived in Los Angeles?
A little over 6 weeks.
Where you from?
Idaho.
Your husband ever been in trouble with the police before?
Keith's got a hard time not being in trouble with anybody.
Has he ever been arrested?
I don't know.
How long you been married?
7 years.
And you don't know if he's ever been arrested?
No, I don't.
You got a picture of your husband?
You mean that you can have?
We'd like to take a look at it, yeah.
Oh, out of luck, I haven't got one.
Does he work?
Not if he can help it.
Doesn't hold a job of any kind, huh?
No, Keith's a professional avoider. He doesn't like anything steady. It's beginning to look like he means me, too.
What's he do with his time?
Nothing. Just lives it.
Is he here in the evening?
If he was, there wouldn't have been the beef this morning, and you wouldn't be asking a lot of questions. I don't know what you're trying to get me to say, but I can't go along with you. You got a problem with Keith, then talk to him. Leave me out of it.
I'll get it.
You know where your husband is now?
No.
You don't have any idea?
Not
huh?
the least.
There you are, little fella. Here's your keys.
Your husband drive a car?
Yeah.
What kind is it?
41 Plymouth.
When do you expect your husband back?
When he walks in the door.
All right, Miss Kearney, I think that'll do it. Sorry if we've caused you any trouble.
You have and you're not.
All right, let's go, Frank. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Better check on the husband, huh?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Get a good look at those keys that the baby was playing with.
No, why?
Plastic tag on them had a license number.
Yeah.
One of the stolen cars used in the drugstore holdup. Frank and I went back to the car and drove around the block, parking up the street from the Kearney residence. We called the name of the man and his wife into R&I, but there was no record on either one of them. Because of the remark made by his wife and the finding of the car keys, it was decided to stake out on the house and wait for the husband to return. 7:30 p.m., 8:30, 9 p.m. The lights in the house went out, but there was still no sign of Keith Kearney. 10:30. We called the office and told them we'd wait it out. 10:45 p.m.
Joe.
Yeah.
You see what kind it is?
Looks like a Plymouth. No.
Checks out, huh?
Yeah, let's take him.
All right, Kearney, hold it up. Watch it, Joe. Give it up, Kearney.
Keep away from me, Cap.
He's trying to make his house.
Yeah.
Kearney, you're not going to make the front porch. Don't give your family any more trouble than they got. Now throw down that gun.
All right, let's give it back to him.
He's down, Joe.
Come on.
Kearney. Kearney.
Careful.
Come on, Kearney, throw that gun away. You hear me?
Looks like he's hurt bad.
All right, hold it.
Yeah. How about it?
He'll live. Call an ambulance.
Right.
You killed him? Did you kill him?
No, ma'am.
He's dead. You killed him.
He'll be all right.
Don't lie to me. Poor kid, you didn't give him a chance. Not fair. He didn't even have a chance.
You saw it all, lady.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a fair fight.
Never is when you pull a gun.
Keith Jarris Kearney was tried and convicted on 9 counts of robbery in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Sure. I'm Pat Novak. For hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak for hire. Oh, there are a lot of ways to put it, but it's easier if you let your slip show right from the beginning. Because down on the waterfront in San Francisco, you got to do a lot of things to make a living. Otherwise, it's like being a CPA in a charity ward. I rent boats and do anything else that'll keep a bum lawyer in beer and broadcloth. Works out all right. You make a few bucks if you don't forget there are only 2 questions you can ask anybody down here. When and how much. Even then, you got to watch out, unless you like your trouble without a chaser. I found that out Monday night. I closed shop and I walked down the street to Noonan's bar. Well, it really isn't a bar. It's just a couple of stools with a bottle opener and a jukebox full of Irish tenors, but it's good enough to give you a shove down the road. Must have been about 11. I was sitting at one end of the place by myself, sorting out mistakes and spending a $50 on the bar, so I don't know when she came in, but she came in. I remember that.
Does it always come up heads?
If you're lucky. Who are you?
If you're that lucky, you'd have dollar bills to do it with.
Look, I'm low on chatter. Why don't you go down the counter and talk to the racy set, huh?
I'd rather buy you a drink.
Noonan's a social climber. He's going to throw you out.
You buy me one, then.
And I'm broke to strangers. Now, that winds up the conversation. See you later.
We'll talk Thursday, then. I went to your office, but they said you were over here. I want to hire you, Mr. Novak.
If you got a name to go with a figure?
It won't fit in your file. I want you for 3 hours' work tomorrow afternoon. Can you do it?
If I said yes, it might be too tough.
There's a flower stand at the corner of Post and Kearney. I want you to go to that stand tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. Pick up a geranium plant and deliver it to this address.
I'm too big for a Western Union boy.
Are you too big for $50?
No. Must be a pretty geranium at those prices.
Some people love nature, Mr. Novak. Do you care?
No, I know a guy who likes parrots.
You go to the stand and tell them you want the plant. Take it straight to the address I gave you. It's important. Don't let it out of your hands.
For $50, I'll act like we're married.
I better give you the money now.
Well, you're eager. Suppose I don't deliver.
I found you tonight. I can do it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, where do I get in touch with you?
You don't. Mr. Novak, this is the last time over the course. So take a good look now.
Yeah, I'm away past midnight already. Suppose something goes wrong tomorrow.
Then it's very simple, Mr. Novak. You won't have to send for flowers. Good night.
I watched her as she turned and walked out the door. She was wearing a flowered print dress, and as she walked, the roses kept getting mixed up with the daisies. She walked with a nice, friendly movement, like the trapdoor on a gallows. As she reached the door, she turned and smiled once, as if she knew the $50 was just for laughs. I scooped up the dough before anybody could see it, because at Noonan's, everybody gets broke in one motion. I left a few minutes later, and I went home to bed. I dreamed real good on $50, so I felt good the next afternoon when I got to the corner of Post and Kearney. The flower stand was there, all right, and I leaned against the storefront to watch the guy for a while. Maybe I should have known then, because right away I got the idea he didn't know what he was doing. But you can say that for a lot of senators. So I let it ride. When the jewelry store clock across the street said 2 o'clock, I walked up to him.
Can I do something for you?
Yeah, give me a geranium plant.
What kind do you want?
Big one, a small one, I don't care. It's 2 o'clock. I'll take that kind.
You want a geranium?
Look, it's going to get dark. You got that long to argue?
Here's the one you want, then.
If you say so. You want to wrap it?
No, it's all right. You carry it that way.
Well, I'm going to look real funny walking around with a handful of geranium.
Why do you want one, then?
I see. You don't feel like talking about it?
No, just take it and be happy.
Yeah. How much?
Nothing. Doesn't cost a thing.
Suit yourself. You won't make much dough that way.
I'll make even less talking to you. Just take the plant and be careful.
Oh? How do you know what I'm going to do with the geranium?
I don't, mister. Some people eat them. Just be careful and goodbye.
Well, the way things were going, Post Street began to look like the main drag in Casablanca. I watched the guy fumble around with a customer for a minute, and then I crossed the street and started up toward Union Square. The cop gave me a kind of a funny look when he saw the geranium. He smiled as if he thought I had a pair of dancing sandals in my coat pocket. About halfway up the block, I stopped to look in an art store. Right then, I noticed the guy with a cane for the first time. He was standing near me, looking in the other window. He was a little guy and kind of wrinkled and bumpy. His skin looked like a cucumber full of powder. I started up the street and pulled in at a bookstore. He stopped, too, and I knew he was following me. When I got to Stockton, I turned left and walked toward Geary Street. Halfway down, there's a little street called Maiden Lane. Oh, it sounds gentle, but so does Vesuvius when you say it fast. I just started to cross when a black Nash pulled away from the curb. Some dead relative must have put in a good word for me.
Hey, over here! Hey, pull him over! Hey, over here! You all right, mister?
Yeah, I'll do, I guess.
You're lucky you're not dead.
Yeah, we're all that way. Give me a hand, will you?
Oh,
thanks.
That car came out of there and hit you on purpose. You're lucky you're not dead.
All right. I owe the house a free roll.
This lady here took down the license number. You want it?
Yeah, thanks.
You sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm a slow bleeder. I dropped a plant somewhere around here.
This it? This red thing?
Yeah, that's it, thanks.
Didn't even hurt the plant. That's something. You know, when I saw that car come out of there and hit you, you know what I thought about you?
That fella's lucky he's not dead.
Yeah.
Well, I looked around, but the little guy with the cane had disappeared. As I crossed Union Square, I kept looking around, but he was gone. Well, I tried to forget about it, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. It kept coming back and showing up again like a bad reputation. Why had the guy started to follow me and then stopped so suddenly? And how about that guy in the car and that $50 geranium? Well, I got a cab over at the St. Francis stand, and I rode out to the address that the girl gave me. On the way, I looked at the flower. From what I could see, it was just a geranium planted in a little wooden box. Like all the rest of them, it bloomed unevenly with buds that looked too nervous to come out, like a debutante with thick ankles. Well, the cab pulled up at the address. It was a rooming house out on Clay Street. The note I had said third floor rear, so I went up there and knocked. There was no answer, so I went in expecting to find anything. Anything but what I did find. Hello?
Go away. Go away and leave me alone.
She closed her eyes and stopped talking. She was so sick it showed like a searchlight in a cave. Her complexion was pasty and the color of a November sky. She had no expression on her face, just thin lips drawn so tightly the rims were white. No, she wasn't ready to quit yet, but you could tell she'd been papering the house for years. And you wouldn't want to bet on her. She was going to last about as long as a warm snowflake. It was easy to tell. You got a bad cough. You need some sun.
I need more than that.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Who are you?
Relax. I'm not the welcome angel. I just brought you some flowers.
Is it a joke of somebody?
I don't know, lady. With me, it's a $50 hustle. They're your flowers, so you work out the right answer.
Go away. Go away, please.
You want the flowers?
You brought them for me, didn't you? Leave them and go away.
Well, it's just a geranium. I'm going to leave it on the table.
Why'd they send you?
My reason was $50.
Did you come to hurt me?
I don't know. Do you rate it?
Oh, I'm too tired. You couldn't really hurt me, could you? Thank you for coming. Thank you for your kindness.
Sure. If that's what it is, you're welcome. That's all she said, and that's all that happened in that little room up on Clay Street. It wasn't much, and it wasn't enough to worry you, but for some reason I felt like a man in quicksand complaining about his height. When I left there, I took a car down to Market Street, and I had dinner. Well, it didn't go right because I kept thinking about this afternoon and last night. Who did she mean by they, and where did all these people fit together? The guy with the cane, the gal that gave me the $50 in the little chair about a Maiden Lane. Well, I tried to forget about it, but it wasn't easy. It was like trying to change a typewriter ribbon with mittens on. After dinner, I went home. It was about 8 o'clock, and when I got in the apartment, it was dark. Before I had a chance to put on the light, I knew somebody was in the bedroom. I walked over to the door. In the dim light, it looked like a walrus in pants, but it turned out to be Inspector Hellman from Homicide.
Hello, Novak. I just dropped in for a chat.
You always chat with your hand in the bureau drawer?
It's restful. I've been looking over your stuff.
Is this a social call or are you out stealing?
Where you been, Novak?
What do you care, Hellman?
All right, I'll tell you where I've been. In a third-floor room out in Clay Street.
I left one this afternoon.
It's the same one. Your fingerprints are all over the joint.
I'll bet you checked everywhere.
What were you doing out there?
Delivering flowers.
Is that your best try, Novak?
It's the best I'm going to do for you. If you don't like it, check with a woman out there. I brought her flowers and left.
What woman?
The one on the couch, a black-haired girl with a half-dead look.
You're wrong twice.
Huh?
There's no girl out there, unless she's tattooed on the guy's chest.
Oh.
And that guy doesn't have a half-dead look. It's better than that.
All the way.
That's right. He's dead enough to play for. Will that do?
Hellman's sleeve so full of fat, I didn't expect anything else up there. He flipped on the light, and I could see he was real pleased with himself. He was smiling like a guy who's just found his partner bidding no trump with 13 spades. He sat down on the bed and unbuttoned his coat. Part of his stomach oozed out and hung over his belt like a 1910 lampshade. He lit a cigarette, and then he began to run his tongue over a set of teeth that looked more like old mandolin picks than teeth. He blew smoke and looked about as appetizing as a piece of squid pie.
Must have been a short argument, Novak. The coroner says the guy checked out in a hurry.
What else does the coroner say?
It was good poison. You buy only the best, Novak.
Don't stub your toe, Hellman. I went up there to deliver a geranium plant.
So far, you got a good case. The guy was poisoned with a spring needle, hidden in that geranium box.
Who was he?
He didn't say, and there wasn't any identification. Do you want to help?
I don't know, Hellman. When I was there, we were doing Camille. Some ghost woman was dying on the couch by inches. It was her room. You better check.
We did. The room was rented 10 days ago by a man named George Langley. The landlady says there's never been a woman in the room.
That's what all landladies say. Wake up, Hellman. I stood there and watched her shake like a dust mop for 10 minutes. You can follow up on her and then check that florist stand at Kearney and Post.
What do I check for, Bull Weevils?
He's the guy that gave me that geranium plant.
We'll check. And I want you down at headquarters by midnight tonight, Novak. You can talk to yourself till then. After that, you talk to us.
I'll make it up from here on, Hellman. You don't like it the other way.
Suit yourself, Novak. You know when you do. In the meantime, we'll find out what we can.
I can't wait that long, Hellman. You couldn't find a tractor on the back porch. I'd hang if I waited for your boys.
That's what you're going to do. And at midnight, you can dangle as high as you want.
I don't mind as long as my feet are on the same level as your head. When Hellman left, I sat down to try to piece things together. I knew everything was there if I could just shove it into place. It was like trying to slop an egg beater for a mixmaster. I was pretty sure there was something about the geranium plant I should remember. One little thing that threw everything else out of focus. Well, I finally gave up. I was $50 ahead and one murder rap behind. Depends on how you like your fun. $50 is all right, but the pleasure's limited. Like giving somebody a hot foot in an ammunition dump. If I was going to drag the town, I needed help. So I looked up the only honest guy I know. An ex-doctor and a boozer by the name of Jocko Madigan. Oh, he's all right for a guy who thinks people with steady hands are lazy. I finally found him in a little tinsel joint on Mason Street. It was high class for the neighborhood. The smoke was only a week old, and they had a cigarette girl. A long, leggy biscuit that wandered around trying to sell a sour smile at sweet prices. Jocko was down at the end of the bar rolling some olives back and forth. The rhythm was fine.
Ah, Patsy, you're just in time to help me off the wagon. A stout glass for Mr. Novak.
Oh, I want to talk to you, Jocko.
Oh, Patsy, confidentially, I hate martinis. I just drink them for the vitamins. Everybody should have a few vegetables, and I have chosen olives.
Look, I'm in trouble, Jocko. Will you sober up and talk?
I could do that easily. I've done it 2 or 3 times, and it's no trick at all. But I refuse because it's a vulgar display of willpower.
Will you stop, Jocko?
You know, Patsy, there are only 2 things that could cause my downfall. Whiskey or women. I'm not particular. You find a nice old widow, and I'll quit this stuff.
All right.
Some plump old party with a memory as vivid as my own. Preferably somebody rich enough to convince me the lines in her face weren't put there by worry.
Oh, stop it, will you?
Patsy, I'll allow you to motivate my descent, but I will not permit you to bring it to a halt. I apologize for interrupting. Go ahead.
What do you know about flowers?
Oh, I think they're pretty on a woman's shoulder, but I suppose that's mixed devotion. Why?
Well, I'm going to need your help, Jocko. There's a dead guy out on Clay Street, and Hellman's campaigning for me.
How do the flowers fit in?
A geranium plant. The guy was poisoned with a needle in the box. I took the plant up there to a woman.
A clumsy approach. Why a geranium plant?
It's a mixed-up story. I got hired in Noonan's bar to pick it up this afternoon at Post and Kearney. I got gumshoed all the way up Post Street and hit by a car at Maiden Lane.
You looked bent when you walked in.
I took it out to this address, and I gave it to a dying woman. Now she's disappeared, and Hellman's after me for the dead guy on her floor. Oh, I need some help, Jocko. I gotta find a way out of this.
Well, you passed up a golden opportunity when that car hit you.
That's one of the places you come in. Now, here's the license. I want you to hop down and check the registration, will you?
What else?
Find out who runs that flower stand at the corner of Post and Kearney. Now, if you get back in time, I can check tonight. Tag by my place. I'll either be there or I'll leave a message.
Where are you going?
To find a woman.
That seems like a peculiar way to handle a crisis.
Well, I gotta find the gal that started me out on this.
Patsy, I wish you'd forget about women.
And I wish you'd forget about whiskey.
Yes, we both have our problems. Except I enjoy one safeguard that you don't. At least I can look at the label and tell how old it is. Good night, lover.
Well, I got out of there and I went by Noonan's place. I asked him if he knew the girl in there last night. He said after 45, a man forgets about a woman's face, so I checked that lead off and started on the other girl. I hit all the cab stands out near Clay Street, and I finally found a hack that picked her up. It was about 4 o'clock, he said. She had luggage and rode over to Janet Street on Telegraph Hill, but he couldn't remember the address at the best rates in town, so I checked off that one, too. From here on, it was going to be a rough ride. I didn't know where to dig. I might as well have been out looking for a stick with one end. Well, I could try one more thing. I went by to search the Clay Street joint. It was a dirty room, and the geranium hadn't helped. There was a sweet odor and a thick, dusty cloud all over the place. It was like going to sleep in a bag of an old vacuum cleaner. There wasn't anything there that could help, and on my way out, I heard footsteps. I snapped off the light and waited. The door opened slowly. I couldn't see her face, but I knew it was the girl from Noonan's. Turn on the light and you'll see your friends.
Well, Mr. Novak.
Sit down. Let's talk.
In here? Why don't we drop by a gymnasium and get some fresh air?
We can start with your name.
It's easy. Say your piece, Mr. Novak. I've run out of $50 bills.
Yeah, that's the way it is with my patients. Who killed the guy?
I don't know, Patsy. I can narrow it down to one county for you, but after that you'll have to do your own sorting.
The police think I did it.
Maybe you did. You look big enough to carry the load. I don't care, Patsy. I'm not going to weep. I've got about 3 tiers left, and he isn't high enough on the list to rate one.
Who was he? Now, how'd you find out he was dead?
There's generally a dirty rim in the wash bowl. His name was Charles Dowd. Don't worry about him. There's a small-time guy set to fast music.
Well, I'm going to worry about him because Homicide's worried about him.
Then worry in a calm way, Patsy. If you do it that way, I'll help.
Sit down. Now, look, lady, you better help out or I'll lose your teeth for you.
Patsy, you're tough. And everything, I guess.
Who runs that flower stand?
It wouldn't help. When he gave you that geranium, there was nothing wrong.
For $50, there had to be something wrong.
It wasn't full of poison. I know it was in there, and it wasn't poison. Somebody made a switch up here.
What happened to the girl?
I don't know. Relax. You're going to use up all that nice energy.
Look, sis, you can haul in those long legs and give me some answers.
I'm going to haul them in long enough to ask a few questions. My turn now, Patsy. Back over toward the door. You can talk on your way.
Yeah, you look good with a gun.
You made a deal with George. I want to hear about it, Novak.
I don't even know George. If he's got a part, you just dealt him in.
I'm too old for fairy tales, Patsy. George got to you and found out about that geranium box. It couldn't have happened any other way.
Sorry, lady.
Remember, you're nothing to me, Novak. You're $50 worth of muscle. You're $50 and I'll spend you fast.
Go easy. You're going to break open a scene. I don't know your boy, George, and I can forget you, too.
You can do it while you're talking. I came a long way, Patsy. Too far to toss it over for a male or a bum. You're just a passing pair of pants to me, and I'll throw you away faster than a water gun.
Now's your chance, baby. Come on.
Let go. You're hurting my shoulder.
Relax. You're not going to have one in a minute. Come on, drop it. Now, reach down for that gun, and I'll jam you in the basement faster than a ton of coal.
All right.
Now, let's hear you talk.
I would, Patsy, but you're not listening.
That's what happens when you don't watch the door. Somebody falls in love with the back of your head. I didn't even have a chance to see who hit me. I don't know what good it would have done unless you're the kind of a guy who keeps a scrapbook on those things. When I woke up, I had company. He was taking a nap, too, only his was going to last longer. It was the little guy with the cane. He tailed me right to the end. He was lying there with his mouth open and a bunch of pink gum showing as if he was trying to pick up a few bucks with a toothpaste ad. I was still groggy, and I couldn't see around the room, but I could hear a slow, steady squeaking sound. I turned my head, and Hellman was sitting in a rocking chair. He looked as happy as a choir boy on Christmas Eve.
You have a good sleep, Novak?
Oh, why don't they move the morgue down here?
Yeah, I guess you ran out of poison.
Why don't you go away, Hellman?
Home, maybe, huh?
I don't owe your wife anything, so I'll wish that.
Who's the guy?
I don't know.
You looked chummy when I got here.
I don't know, Hellman. He followed me all over Post Street this afternoon. Check him yourself.
I did. There's nothing on him.
I'll bet his gold fillings are gone now.
Your trial run was a guy named Charles Dowd.
I know.
He was arrested in 1942 on suspicion of espionage.
He's in business again. A whole bunch of them are, and the kicker has something to do with that geranium plant.
What bunch?
These dead guys and a lot of others on the same schedule. It's that geranium plant. It all started at Post and Kearney. You better check that florist stand.
Don't you ever get tired, Novak?
Huh?
We checked the florist stand at Post and Kearney. The answer is no.
Did you talk to the guy?
No, because there is no florist stand at Post and Kearney.
You're crazy, Hellman. I got a geranium plant there this afternoon.
There's no florist stand at Post and Kearney. If you got a geranium there, it was grown out of a crack in the sidewalk.
I left Hellman standing there over the dead man. The little guy was looking up at Hellman with a dull, bored look like an usher in a burlesque house. I was sure now there was something about that geranium I'd missed. If I could find the string and pull it, the whole thing would unravel. The questions were piling up, and there was only one answer. Who got to that box and made a switch? Well, it was close to 11 when I got back to my apartment. Jocko was in the kitchen working on an experiment.
Ah, Pepsi, I'm drinking to your memory. I'm making up for cheap booze with extra sentiment.
What'd you find out?
You were mixed up. There is no flower stand at Kearney and Post.
Now, look, I've been through all that once. It was Post and Kearney. I couldn't have made a mistake.
Oh, anybody can confuse a street. It can be done easily. I once confused 2 whole suburbs.
Yeah, all right.
I boycotted a bar in Alameda for months before I found out they gave me the Mickey and San Carlos.
Now, look, I know what I did, Jocko. Maybe the flower stand moved. Maybe it was never there before. But today it was at Post and Kearney. How about that license number?
The car is registered in the name of George Langley. Who's he?
He rented the murdered woman. He's mixed up in a switch on that geranium plant.
What kind of switch?
I don't know. But whatever it was, George did it. When it left that stand, there was something else in it besides a poison needle. Everybody knew it. The girl and the little guy with a cane, probably the guy that drove that car.
They switched plans?
No, they changed. Yeah, I guess he could have done that too, huh?
Was the man with the cane behind you when you got hit by the car?
Yeah, I think you're right, Jocko.
He wasn't trying to kill you. In the confusion, the man with the cane switched plants on you.
Oh, Jocko, you're an angel. I'm going to do something for you someday.
You already have. I charged this bottle of whiskey to you.
Yeah, Novak talking.
I got news for you.
Mine's good, too. That poison needle plant was engineered by the little guy with the cane.
We identified him. His fingerprints match an espionage agent called George Langley.
Well, he was due any minute.
There's nothing else on him except he lived in a place up on Janet Street.
So it happened that way.
Huh?
That's where the other geranium is, Hellman. You better get up there before they ring down the curtain. That other plant's going to draw all the boys and girls.
What does that prove?
Nothing, except you haven't got any business bothering a flower unless you're a bee. Well, you never know how the cards are going to fall, but when it's a wild game like Red Dog, whichever way they fall, it's going to hurt. And the last card's the one that breaks your back. So when Hellman hung up, I grabbed a cab and rushed out to Janet Street. It's a little short street draped down the side of Telegraph Hill like a torn ribbon. When Hellman pulled up at the top of the hill, I met him, and we started down to George Langley's address. Hellman opened the front door, and as we started into the bedroom, we ran into a traffic jam.
I'm sorry.
Hello, Evie. This is Hellman from Homicide.
I don't have time now, Patsy.
That's all you got, baby. Grab her bag there, Hellman.
Patsy, you're crazy.
Open her bag, Hellman. That's what they're all after. There's the geranium over by the window.
Let's have the bag, lady.
You're all too grabby. I'll take it. Come on, Edie.
Who's this guy?
A pixie, Hellman. He's the guy that sold me the flower down at Post and Kearney.
I'm sorry you got mixed up, Novak, but I'm short on regrets tonight. Give me the bag, Edie.
Go easy. We're going to get in too deep.
You're in up to your nostrils now, baby. The bag. I want that piece of paper.
You don't need a gun, Gerard.
That's up to you, Evie. You double-crossed me, and I'm too old for a new set of tricks.
That's the way it had to be, Gerard. You can see that. When George cut in, there was nothing else to do. It was high man in, low man out.
You're out there, and I want the bag.
Stay away from me, Jerry.
Give me time. I'll get far away.
I'm going to hang on to it. Stay away, Jerry.
I hear you, but that's all, baby.
Give me a hand, Patsy.
You're going to need more than that, Angel.
Help me to the couch.
Sure, come on. There you are.
Thanks, Patsy. You didn't owe me that.
I can't take it back now.
How's Gerard?
He bleeds big.
If I wasn't so tired, I'd laugh and laugh.
No, I wouldn't do that, Angel. You're going to be there in time to hear the echo. What's in the bag?
A formula. One other thing, Pat.
Yeah?
One other thing.
What'd she say?
I don't know, Hellman. She took it with her.
Where does that leave us?
Short one girl. She's in the apartment or on her way up.
Don't look too hard, Mr. Novak.
How many more are there?
She's the big act. How do your friends look, sweetheart?
They look really short. Oh. They watched me get sick. They didn't do anything about it. They sat around waiting for the last ounce of blood to dry up.
You better go with Hellman.
Please take me when you have a chance. Take me to... No.
Yeah, you're more than ready.
Oh, I think they look wonderful. They let me work for years. They let me get this way. And then they sat around to listen to my heartbreak.
Well, I don't know why, but Hellman was confused. He finally got the story off the girl in a hospital bed. All 5 of them had worked together once, gathering government information, but when the big order came, double-cross set in like an epidemic. They were out after a formula. The dying girl had one half, and the other half was in that geranium plant. It came off the boat and went to that phony flower stand. Evie and Gerard were afraid to deliver it themselves, so they hired me to do it. The sick girl was in on another frame. She tipped off Langley, and he worked that hit and run with Dowd, only he forgot to tell Dowd about the poison needle. When Dowd was dead, the girl checked out for Langley's place. Between them, they had the formula, but they got in the beef, so she killed him. She came back to plant a phony lead for Evie, and that's how I got sacked. Evie tumbled and headed for Langley's place. When she left, the girl planted Langley next to me in that room and then went back to watch Evie and Gerard in that overtime match. I guess she was too sick to care one way or the other. Now, Hellman asked only one question. How come 5 such bad people ever got together in one shuffle? I don't know, except most people are full of a lot of good and a lot of bad. The day we met them, all the bad was showing.
The Armed Forces Radio Service has just brought you Pat Novak For Hire, starring Jack Webb. Pat Novak is produced by William P. Russo. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed and conducted by Basil Adlam. Be with us again next week when over most of these same stations we'll bring you Pat Novak For Hire. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the burglary detail. A man walks into a pawn shop and wants to sell a ring. Indications are that the ring is stolen. Your job? Find out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, You will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 17th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were assisting another team in checking out pawn shops, and it was 9:27 a.m. when we got to 552 South Main Street. Pacific Loan Company.
Hi, Joe, Frank.
Herb, how you doing?
What is it, business or pleasure?
A little of both. I'd like to check the buy book, Ken, Herb.
Sure thing, I'll get it for you. Where's your partner? Took the day off. Going to get some sunshine.
You picked a good day for it.
Yeah. Here you are, Joe.
Thank you. Herb, are these all the tickets for yesterday?
Yeah, it was kind of slow Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You find anything?
No, not what we want. Okay, thanks, Herb.
Oh, it's okay. You know, Joe, anytime we can help you fellas.
Yeah.
Say, Joe, while we're here, I'd like to look at a guitar.
What?
It's not for me. You know me better than that. The only piece I know is it ain't gonna rain no more.
What's wrong with how dry I am?
It's funny. What do you got in a good guitar, Herb?
Well, come on down here. I'll show you some good buys.
One of my neighbors asked me to check if I had a chance. Wants to buy his kid one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Did you say how much you want to spend?
No, but I don't guess he wants to lay out too much. How about that one hanging up there, the one with the knobs on it?
Oh, that's an electric.
What's with the knob?
For volume.
Oh. How much?
You know, that one, let you have for $30.
I don't think he'll go that much. You got something cheaper? The kid can make his own volume. That's nice looking, though, don't you think, Joe?
Yeah.
Say, here's a good one in Spanish.
That the regular kind?
That's right.
How much is it?
$12.
Oh, that sounds more like his speed. Can I see it?
Sure thing. Yeah. It isn't tuned, but go ahead and strum it.
Uh-huh. But what should I be listening for?
Tone.
Oh.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, excuse me, fellas.
Sure, go ahead, Herb.
Something I can help you with, sir?
Yeah, maybe. I guess so. How's it sound to you, Joe?
You want to step to the back?
I don't know. I'm with you. What do we listen for here?
What is it you
Tone, you know.
Oh, yeah.
This neighbor told me he was pretty lucky.
How's that?
Well, his kid's been watching those singing cowboys on TV, so now he wants to be one with a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
This guy next door says he's glad his kid hasn't got all wrapped up in space shows.
Well.
Says he couldn't afford a spaceship.
I don't guess there are too many second-hand spaceships for sale, are there?
Joe, I think he's trying to push your hot ring. I turn it down.
Let's go.
Hey, you, fella, hold it up.
You mean me?
That's right. Police officers.
What's the matter?
Let's go over to the doorway. Right over here.
Well, why?
Come on, move. Hands over your head.
Come on.
Turn around. All right. He's clean.
See your identification.
Like what?
You got a driver's license?
Yeah.
Get it out.
All right. Here.
Take it out of the wallet.
Sure.
Now, give it to me. James Feder. This your true name?
Yeah.
You live at this address, 1201 South Grattan Street?
Yeah.
Right, here you are. What were you doing in that shop?
I went in to sell a ring.
Let's see it.
All right. Here.
The ring belong to you?
Yeah.
Want to wait here, Frank? I'll check Herb.
All right.
Herb, you want to come out here a minute?
Sure.
Let's take a look here. Is that the man who tried to sell you the ring down there?
Yeah.
All right, now look at this. Is this the ring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an emerald. Real good stone.
Why'd you turn it down?
Well, I thought there was something wrong, like I said.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to sell it for $20.
Yeah.
Ring's worth close to $1,000.
We took James Feder to the office for questioning. Frank checked with R&I and found that he had a previous record. He'd been picked up on suspicion of burglary and had served one term for auto theft. The ring was examined and found to be genuine. Feder maintained the ring belonged to him. After an hour of interrogation, he began to change his story.
All right, I didn't know what it was worth.
You mean the ring wasn't yours, then?
Yeah, if I'd known it was worth that much, I wouldn't have tried to sell it so cheap.
Well, where'd you get it?
I found it.
Where?
MacArthur Park.
When?
Last night. I go over there all the time in the evening.
Did you do anything about trying to find out who lost the ring?
Yeah, I checked in the papers and the lost and found. I guess I looked in all of them. I didn't see any ads, though, for a green ring.
Uh-huh.
Well, I looked at the ring real close. It didn't seem like a good stone, so I decided maybe it wasn't worth anything advertised.
No, but it was worth trying to sell, wasn't it?
Well, like I said, I ain't working. A few bucks would come in handy.
Yeah, sure.
You don't believe me, do you?
Well, you haven't given us much reason, have you? You started out lying. Why should we think different now?
Yeah, I guess I told you it was mine. I was afraid maybe you'd think I stole it. But I told you the truth now.
You have.
I can prove it. You take me out there. You take me to that park right now.
What'll that prove?
Well, I'll show you just where I picked it up.
Well, now, if we wait until Sunday, the trip won't be wasted, will it?
Huh?
We can listen to the band concert, too. We continued to question James Fetter, but we were unable to change his story. He was booked in on suspicion of violation of Section 459 PC and held for investigation. We made a check of his residence, his friends, and the places he was known to frequent. We could find nothing to hold him on. He came up on the overtime sheet, and he was released. The ring was booked as found property. Friday, June 20th.
Morning, Joe.
Hi. You checked the book?
Yeah, nothing in.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, letter for you.
Thank you.
Right.
Listen to this. You did me a favor. Now I'm going to do you one. Go to the Greyhound Bus Depot. Rental locker number 103.
Yeah, is that all?
Take a look at it. Here.
Typewritten, no greeting, no signature.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Let's check it out. Frank and I took the letter over to Leighton Prince, and then we drove over to 6th and Los Angeles Street, the Greyhound Bus Depot. We went to the office of Ralph Thomas, the regional manager. We told him about the letter, and in his company, we went to check on locker number 103.
Well, the locker's empty now. We'll have to see if anything's been removed from it recently. You want to come with me, gentlemen? We'll take the elevator to the basement.
All right, fine. Thank you
very much.
How are the lockers checked, Mr. Thomas?
The 10 cents pays for 24 hours. All lockers are checked at midnight.
I see.
When the time limit's up, the articles are removed and a new lock's put on the locker.
I see.
Of course, as long as the fee's paid, we don't bother it.
Mm-hmm.
All the things removed are ticketed and held for 90 days.
I see.
See, we hold them here at the depot for 30 days and then remove them to a warehouse. You'd be surprised at how fast they accumulate.
Yes, sir.
Here we are.
You mean all these things here have been left in lockers? People checked them, didn't come back for them?
That's right. We get quite a variety of things.
You sure do.
Of course, not all of them are of much value. For instance, sometimes a person will go out, buy a new shirt, change it in the station, check the old one, and forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, Joe. That stuffed yellow poodle dog up there.
Yeah.
Over there, half a radio. That's not much good unless you know the guy with the other half. Huh? Flat iron. Sure, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, what about locker 103?
Well, let's see now. If there was anything taken from it, it should be right over here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's some nice-looking luggage. I don't see how a guy would forget something like that.
Here we are. Feels like a small box.
That's from number 103?
That's what the ticket says, see?
Uh-huh. Yeah. What about the date that this was removed?
Well, let's see. Midnight, June 17th. That was 3 days ago.
Yeah. It's okay if we open it?
Not at all. Here you are.
Here, give me the paper, Joe.
Yeah.
Looks like a Christmas card box, huh?
Yeah. Take a look, Frank.
Uh-huh.
What's in it, Sergeant Friday?
Jewelry. We signed a release form for the jewelry, and then we went back to the office. A check of pawn shop records was made, and we found that all the pieces had been reported stolen in a recent burglary. Leighton Prince had called to say no prints were found. The owner, Mrs. Carlton Hendricks, was notified, and she came down to the office. 11:07 a.m.
Are you Mr. Friday, the gentleman that I talked to on the phone?
Yes, ma'am. It's my partner, Frank Smith.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Smith?
How do you do?
Smith. Oh, that's a nice, uncomplicated name. If you don't mind my saying so, Mr. Smith, I think you look like a very competent officer.
Thank you, ma'am.
And you, Mr. Friday, you look, well, as though you might be more complicated, but very efficient.
Very nice of you, thank you.
You see, that's one of my hobbies, reading character from faces. My friends say that I'm most always right.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, when you called, I was so thrilled. You can understand what it means to recover possessions that you'd given up for lost?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to check the pieces now?
Yes, you know, I had to call off a bridge party this afternoon, but then there'll be others, and this will be such an experience to tell them about.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if you just look at these pieces and tell us if they're yours.
Oh, all right, Mr. Friday, whenever you're ready.
Yes, ma'am. Well, this is the box they were found in here.
Where's the Christmas card box? How clever of them. I must remember that. You know, tell my friends.
Yes, ma'am, you do that. Frank, would you hand me that newspaper, please?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'll just spread these on the table here and you can see them better.
Oh, Maurice would just die if he saw this.
Is that your husband?
Oh, gracious, no, I don't have one. I mean, at present. I'm divorced, you see, but we're still very good friends. I met Maurice, the jeweler.
Huh?
Just the way Mr. Friday spread my jewels on the newspaper. You see, when Maurice showed me these things, he had them all displayed on a wonderful piece of velvet.
Oh.
Then you recognize these pieces as being yours, Miss Hendricks?
Oh, yes. Well, there's my wedding ring and my gold charm bracelet. Have you looked at that close, gentlemen?
No, I missed it.
Oh, you should. Here, now, look. Now, you see, all those things have a special meaning. My husband gave them to me. The little stop-and-go light. Oh, that was silly. I was just learning to drive.
Yeah.
It was a good thing we had insurance. Oh, and this little wheelbarrow. The first time we went to the races and I won so much money, he said I'd need this to carry it in.
That's good. Well, then I guess we can report that the jewels have been identified by the owner, huh?
Oh, you see this little cell phone, Mr. Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
It's got a number on it. But my husband didn't give me this.
He didn't?
Oh, no. It was all innocent enough, but poor Carlton. That's what my husband got furious. I even caught him with a magnifying glass one day trying to read the number. The dear jealous man.
Uh-huh.
Is everything out of the box, Mr. Friday?
Yes, ma'am. It's all right there in the paper. Why?
Well, I don't see my ring.
You mean this one right here?
No, that's not it. It was an emerald in platinum setting.
Well, when we checked the burglary report, I don't remember seeing any listing for that, Miss Hendricks.
Well, yes, I know. At the time I made the report, I haven't missed it. These trinkets were stolen from my jewelry box. I thought the emerald was in the safety deposit box.
I see. But why didn't you make a report when you discovered that it was gone?
Oh, well, it happened at a bad time. I'd made plans to go over to Reno for a vacation. You know what a lovely place that is. Well, I thought if the rest of the things were recovered, the ring would be too.
Well, nevertheless, you should have taken the time to report it, ma'am.
Oh, yes, I know. But at the time, I was more concerned with my plans for this trip. Have you ever been to Reno?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you should go sometime. It's really wonderful. I'm going back this winter for the winter sports. Do you gentlemen ski?
No, ma'am. No. Miss Hendricks, how much was your ring valued for?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I think Carson paid something like $1,000 for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, 3 days ago, we recovered an emerald ring that was supposed to have been found. It may possibly be yours.
There, you see. Nothing to worry about. I just knew when I saw you two men that everything was going to be all right. My friends are right. I can't read character.
Yes, ma'am. We'll have to go over to the property department to identify the ring, Miss Hendricks.
Oh, good. Good. That'll be another experience. I'm going to have to get in touch with Carson. I'll need another charm for my bracelet.
Yes, ma'am, you will.
And I know now just what I want. Something that symbolizes this occasion, and especially you two officers.
Uh-huh.
Can you guess what it'll be?
No, I can't. Can you, Frank?
No, Joe, I can't.
2 little gold bloodhounds.
We took Miss Hendricks over to the property department in the central jail. We signed out for the ring, and she identified it as being hers. All the jewelry was booked as evidence. We went to the district attorney's office and got a warrant for the arrest of James Feder. We got out a local and an APB on the suspect. Frank and I checked his residence. We were told the suspect had moved several days previously. The landlady had no forwarding address. She couldn't tell us about any visitors or any mail he'd received. She was unable to tell us if he drove a car. We rechecked his known associates and friends. Several leads were obtained, but none of them turned up anything. 5 days went by. Thursday, June 25th. Morning, Frank.
Hi, Joe. You been here long?
About 5 minutes.
I just couldn't hit the lights this morning. What's new?
Well, we got a call from auto theft.
Yeah.
They picked up a man early this morning trying to steal a car.
Somebody we want?
I think so. James Feder.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Before Frank and I checked out of the office, we contacted auto theft detail and told them we wanted to talk to Feder. We drove over to the main jail. The suspect was brought to the interview room.
I heard you guys were looking for him.
That's right.
I could have come in, but I didn't think it was important.
So you do it the hard way, huh?
This is a bad beef.
I guess you figure them all that way, huh?
No, not always. You take a chance. You get caught, it's bad. But you ain't getting credit for something you didn't do.
That's so?
Yeah. What do you want to see me about?
You don't know, huh?
No, just that some of the boys said you were asking for me.
Thought maybe you'd like to tell us more about where you found that ring.
Oh, that again?
Yeah, that again.
You got my story. Now, what more do you want?
We got an alibi. Now we'd like the truth.
I found it.
Sure you did.
I don't know where I fit in, what you're trying to build, but I want no part of it.
It's not that simple.
All right, you tell me.
That ring wasn't lost. It was stolen, and you know it.
You figure I'm your pigeon, is that it?
Let's try it for size, huh?
Not this time. You can leave it with somebody else.
Might take a little time, but we're going to make you on it.
No, not from where I sit.
You'll need a better story than you got right now.
Well, not until you can prove I didn't find it.
We got the other stuff you took.
Oh, come on. Now you're really reaching.
No, I don't think so. You did us a favor, but that doesn't put us on your side.
Look, maybe you better fill me in.
We got your letter.
You did?
Yeah.
That's great. Now tell me what I said.
I'll do even better. Here, you read it.
This is the letter I wrote, huh?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I get it now. You found some stuff down at the Greyhound Depot.
You called it.
Well, I'll give you something else.
Yeah?
I didn't write that letter. I don't know who did, but it wasn't me.
The ring you had has been identified by the owner. A lot of other stuff we recovered.
Look, I'll tell you something. It's like I said, you take your chances, but I ain't going to front for this deal.
Yeah.
Looks like someone was trying to nail me in, but I don't want it. You said I did you a favor. I didn't, but I'm going to now.
All right, why don't you?
I got that ring from a girl I know.
What's her name?
Jill Mason.
Go ahead.
Well, I ran into her the other night. I told her I could use a couple of bucks. She's owed me $15 for a long time. She said she didn't have any cash, but she gave me the ring.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what it was worth. That's the truth. I don't think she did either. She was carrying a pretty fair package at the time.
Well, go ahead.
Well, she told me she got the ring from a boyfriend. That's all I knew about it.
Why'd you give us the story about the park?
Well, I figured maybe it'd keep her out of trouble. As long as you had the ring, I thought that was enough.
Well, what's this girl mean to you?
You mean how well do I know her?
Yeah.
I talked to her, that's all, but the only reason I give this to you is I don't want to pay somebody else's bill.
She ever done any big time?
I don't know. I never had any serious talks with her.
Want to tell us where she lives?
Yeah. You know, I don't understand that letter. Maybe you still think I wrote it, but I didn't.
We only got your word for that.
No. Doesn't make sense I'd send a letter if I'd taken the stuff and wanted to keep it.
You might have.
Why?
You made a lot of other mistakes. After further questioning, the suspect gave us a description of Jill Mason and her address. Frank and I went back to the office and checked her name through R&I, but we found no previous record for anybody answering her description. We drove over to 943 Wright Street, and we found the apartment house Feder had told us about. Jill Mason's name was listed on a mailbox near the front entrance. We went up to the third floor, apartment 316. We rang the bell, and the door was opened by a woman of about 35 years of age. Her face showed signs of having recently been bruised.
Yeah? What is it?
You Jill Mason?
That's right.
Police officers would like to talk to you.
Oh, well, I was just going to the beauty parlor. I'm late now.
We'd appreciate it if you can wait, ma'am.
All right.
All right, if we come in?
Guess so.
Thank you. Live alone here?
Yep.
All right, if we look around?
Go ahead.
Frank?
Yeah.
Look, what's this all about? I don't think I like it. That slob Whitey put you up to this?
Beg your pardon?
Whitey, the bartender up the One Stop. That chiseler make a fuss over the couple of 10-cent glasses I broke last night?
We haven't talked to him.
It's okay, Joe.
Wouldn't have surprised me if he had. Imagine him telling me I wasn't no lady. His shins are going to be sore for a couple of days.
Do you know a person named James Feder?
What's the last name?
Feder. F-E-D-E-R.
You say you knew me?
Can you tell us that, please?
You know?
Yeah. Say, this going to take long?
To make a difference?
Yeah, I'd like to call and cancel my appointment.
All right.
Thanks. Hi, Helen. Joe Mason. I'm going to have to cancel my appointment. Okay, I'll call you. Yeah. I'm sorry, honey. Yeah. Goodbye. No sense keeping her waiting. I didn't have to ask you if you'd be here long. When it wasn't about last night, I knew.
Mm-hmm.
Mind if I sit down?
Go ahead.
I could lie to you, but if you talk to Feder, it'd only be wasted breath. I'm beat as it is, more than one way.
Did you give Feder a ring?
That's what kicked the whole business off.
Yeah?
You see my face? It doesn't look too bad now, but you should have seen it a week ago. If I'd had a gun, I think I'd have shot him.
Feder, you mean? Huh?
No, he didn't have anything to do with it. I mean Steve Remsen.
Who's he?
Guy that gave me the ring, the one I gave to Feder for the money I owed him. I was pretty stupid about it, but that wasn't any reason for me to take the beating.
When did this Remsen get the ring?
Did you get my letter? So I got even with him.
Did you know the ring was stolen when you gave it to Feder?
No, Steve just gave it to me. He didn't say anything about where he got it or how much it was worth, nothing. Just before I saw Feder, I'd had a fight with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little loaded. When Feder asked me for the money, I gave him the ring.
Remsen told you it was stolen, did he?
Later, after he'd found out what I'd done with it, he got real sore. Said if Feder tried to pawn the ring, they'd find out about the other stuff.
Uh-huh.
Said he couldn't go back to the bus station for it. Cops might pick him up.
I see.
We were up here. He was drinking. Got madder all the time and finally worked me over.
Mm-hmm.
Feder got in touch with me after you let him go. Told me what had happened. I didn't let on that I knew about the ring, but that's when I figured how to get even with Steve. I mailed you the letter.
You know where Remsen is now?
No. He'll probably call today. I haven't seen him since he beat up on me, but he'll call. Trying to make up. I told him we were through. I can get him up here for you.
Mm-hmm. Do you know where he lives?
Not now. He's moved.
Can you give us the address?
Sure. But don't you believe me? I wouldn't lie to you, not after what he done to me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get even with him, that's all. I don't know why you don't buy it.
Well, maybe we will.
Yeah?
If he shows up. We called the office, and another team of men was sent out to check the address Jill Mason had given us for Steve Remsen. We had the name checked through R&I, but without result. Frank went out and moved the car away from the building in case Remsen might show up. We went back to the apartment and waited for him to call. 10 hours went by. She received several calls, but none of them from Remsen. Manuel Pena, one of the detectives checking Remsen's address, called and said that they'd found that he moved away on June 18th. He said they'd make a follow-up investigation. 11:30 p.m.
What if he doesn't call me?
He said he might, didn't he?
I know, but it's never at any particular time. I just said he'd been calling. Maybe he won't. What happens then?
We'll wait and see. Remember, hold it so we can hear it now.
I know. Hello? Oh, hi. I don't know if I can make it. Well, I know. I'd like to, but I'll have to call you. Uh-huh. Sure, honey. Thanks for calling. Bye. Girlfriend wanted me to go bowling tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
You heard what I told her. Guess it's better not to try to plan anything, huh?
Yeah.
It's the front door buzzer. Someone's calling from down below. Door's locked at 10.
All right, answer it and hold the receiver so we can hear.
You still don't trust me.
That's not the point.
Hello? It's him.
Get him up here.
What's that, Steve? Uh-huh. I know, honey. I guess I was wrong, too. Uh-huh. Come on up. Hurry, honey. There. That'll open the front door for him. He'll be right up.
Frank, you want to unlock this door?
Yeah.
You carry a gun?
I know he's got one.
All set?
Yeah.
Hiya, doll.
Police officer Johnson, get your hands up.
What's going on?
Over your head. Hold it right there, Frank.
Yeah.
What is this, Jill?
All right. He's clean. Get your hands behind your back. Come on.
You heard him. These are police officers. Honey.
Boy, you...
All right, hold it right there. Never mind.
You and the cops. I should have finished what I started with you.
You tried.
You wouldn't have got your laylet if you'd used your head. We wouldn't be in this mess now. My fault for tying her with a knothead like you.
Oh, you...
All right, now stop it, both of you.
Sure, it's just that you guys never come close if it wasn't for this dumb broad.
You tell us.
Had it all worked out. Things were going just the way I planned.
All right?
Sure, I'd be sitting pretty except for her.
Yeah, sure you would.
Dumb broad, the biggest mistake she ever made.
No, there was one other.
What?
The first time she talked to you.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 5th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Steve Lynn Remsen was tried and convicted on one count of burglary in the second degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not more than 1 year in the county jail, or by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 15 years. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
My name's Jeff Regan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Lyon. Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, Investigator, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of The House by the Sea.
This is the way it started. I walked in the office about 11 o'clock that morning. It was a nice, warm day, and I didn't have much on my mind. That's the trouble with nice days. You take a couple of easy breaths, open somebody's door, and it's just like peeling a wrapper off an atomic bomb. The Lion was in his den, sitting behind his desk. He couldn't tell where he left off, and the desk began. He was talking to a girl with a flock of black hair. He was the kind you see driving a Cadillac convertible down Sunset Boulevard on hot Sunday afternoons. No wonder the Lion's cigar was out. It was wet on both ends.
Well, come in, Regan, come in. I was just about to call you, but now that you're here, it makes things simpler. Miss Carmen, this is Mr. Regan.
How do you do, Mr. Regan? Mr. Lyon tells me you're just the man I want.
You said the same thing to a mortician last week.
He is the man I want, Mr. Lyon.
Well, that's fine, Miss Carmen. I knew you'd be pleased. I'm very proud of Jeffrey.
As long as I'm in the cast, how about a look at the script, huh?
Miss Carmen is associated with the famous psychic consultant, Prince Carew.
I help the prince look into people's minds.
Well, that ought to be real fun if all your customers are under 6.
You don't believe in thought transference, Mr. Regan.
Do you?
I said I help the prince.
Prince Carew sent Miss Carmen to retain an operator, Jeffrey. It's a very delicate matter, and I'm placing the entire case in your hands.
Why didn't he come himself?
Do you disapprove of me?
I just want to know what's what.
Well, Prince Carew never appears in public. He prefers to spend his time in meditation and thought.
Yeah.
I handled all of his outside contacts.
So, Jeffrey, you just drive on out to Prince Carew's home in Ocean Town with Miss Carmen and speak to the prince.
What kind of a retainer did he send? How much did you get?
Now, see here, Regan, we don't discuss finances in front of clients.
Oh, stop it, will you? This is another blind spot. You don't know what it's all about. All you know is she waltzed in here with a check, and you'd sell your grandmother to a glue factory for $2. How do I know I won't wind up being a patsy again?
Is there any way I can reassure you?
Buy me a battleship.
Jeffrey, have I ever involved you in anything that I wouldn't undertake myself? Have I ever knowingly imperiled your life?
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
Come on, lady. What's it all about? You work for the guy.
Well, I really don't know. He was excited this morning, called me in, gave me this address, and told me to make arrangements.
He must have told you something.
He never tells me anything. As you say, I just work for him. Well?
All right, I'm hired.
Good. Now call me, Jeffrey. Call me if you run into any trouble.
Well, I asked her how about lunch. She said no. I asked her about dinner. She said something that meant no, so I gave up. You know, it's like that sometimes. The flag's up, the meter's ticking, and you're not getting anywhere. But from a couple of things she told me, I got the idea she was doing more than just helping the prince read minds. Well, his place turned out to be a good hour from downtown Los Angeles, up 101. It was a couple of stories of glass and concrete leaning out over the ocean. It was high and dry and quiet up there. And you got a feeling you should be hearing things and feeling things when you looked down and saw that water banging around the bottom of the cliff. She unlocked the door, and a guy in a white turban and some pants that looked like oversized diapers and a pair of tennis shoes was standing there. He had a big curved knife hanging around his waist, and he put his hand on it when he saw me.
Right this way, Mr. Regan.
Who's he, the butcher?
Oh, that's Telly. He works for the prince. Manservant. He's from India.
Yeah, I'll bet the Indians are glad to get rid of him.
Telly's harmless, tongueless, and he doesn't hear. I like you, Mr. Regan.
Come in. Thelma, my dear, you've returned with spoils. Welcome, sir, welcome.
Mr. Regan, this is Prince Carew.
Regan, the lion's eye. I've heard of you, Mr. Regan. I'm honored. Sit down. That'll be all, Thelma. Charming girl.
She handle all your outside contacts?
Most efficiently. Except, of course, for matters that I must handle personally.
What kind of matters?
I'm in trouble, Mr. Regan, and I beg your assistance.
Well, it's all paid for.
Correct. But there's a personal bonus in this for you.
Why?
Because, sir, I want you to save my life.
You look healthy to me.
I am healthy, let me assure you. But my life has been threatened.
Well, that'd come under police business, wouldn't it?
Normally. Didn't Miss Carmen explain that this was a delicate matter?
Yeah, she did. Why didn't you call the police?
I'm hardly in a position to ask the police for assistance, Mr. Regan. It is a delicate matter.
Outside it says you're a mind reader, all right? What am I thinking now?
That I'm a charlatan, a faker, and that I'm trying to hide something from you.
That gets you the cigar.
It's been a very lucrative arrangement for the most part and very satisfactory. Except, of course, for the annoyance of having my life threatened.
Who's the guy?
It would be of no consequence if it were a man. It's a lady, Mr. Regan. A very beautiful and lovely creature. And she'd like nothing better than to see my carcass go out with the tide.
Why does she want to kill you?
A matter of confidence. Suffice it to say that she is thoroughly capable of doing just that.
How do you know?
1, she is erratic, ill-tempered, ruthless. 2, she called me this morning and told me what she intended to do.
She giving you a chance to reach for your gun?
To reach for you, Mr. Regan.
What do you want me to do?
I feel the entire matter could be settled amicably if you were to call on her. Inform her that you are my personal bodyguard and that you are here to protect my life.
You think she'd go for that?
I'm positive.
How long you been blackmailing her?
What?
Well, your racket might last 6 months or a year, but not long enough to pay for a place like this. The answer's blackmail, isn't it?
Okay. I should have told you.
How do you do it?
I can slip them into a trance. They spill a family secret or two. I push a buck that way.
That's nice.
If you want the minds read, I read them. $25 a parade.
And shakedown.
The guy's got to eat.
You put the squeeze on her.
She's an actress. She was in on a deal at the studios.
She wouldn't shake?
At first, I just told her I had to have a larger fee. Then they come out with it, cold turkey.
And she said she'd blow your head off.
Yeah, she's the kind. I went wrong on this one. I'm in a spot.
Who is she?
Grace Nichols, movie actress. Ever heard of her?
Redhead.
Makes you want to go home and kick your wife downstairs if you got one.
That good?
Better. But she means this business about pumping me. And I won't look good dead.
All right, where's she live?
Over in the Palisades. Here's her address. You going over there now?
Yeah.
Be careful.
She isn't gunning for me.
That isn't what I mean. There's a skinny boy there. He's nasty, no callers. Name of Tim Rogers.
I'll remember that.
I hope you can talk her out of it. I've been sweating. I don't want to shake her down. I just want to get a little sleep at night.
I left him sitting there, scratching his bald head under his turban. He looked about as happy as a guy who just ate a Vaseline sandwich. Well, Grace's place was too big for a marble game and too small for football. I think I remember reading something about how she got it from her third husband. There was a big wire fence all around it and a sign every 15 or 20 feet telling you not to trespass. So I parked my car outside the driveway and walked up to the front door. The guy in a chauffeur's uniform was standing there. He looked like a razor blade with arms. He gave me the fisheye and blew smoke in my face and kind of nudged me with his shoulder.
Move on, Pilgrim. No handouts here.
I came to see Grace Nichols.
Yeah.
I got business with her.
Yeah.
So tell her I'm here.
Blow.
You always like this, or did you miss lunch today?
I don't know who you are, Pilgrim, but I don't like you. Beat it.
I know you. There's something about a guy in a lineup.
Yeah?
He memorizes real easy.
Copper.
Investigator.
Private or city, I don't care. You all smell the same.
This isn't hunting season. You always carry a .38?
Does it show?
Maybe you got a broken rib.
A real funny guy. I met all kinds of funny guys. Drift.
I said I wanted to see her.
And I said she wasn't in.
All right, I'll tell you once more. I got business with it.
So do a couple of hundred other guys.
Watchdog?
Now you're getting smart.
You weren't.
What kind of a crack is that?
I want to see her, I'm going to see her.
Trick I learned a long time ago. Shoot a guy in the knee and he'll never walk straight again.
You ever done it?
Oh, yeah. That's how I learned.
That's one I learned, baby.
Well, I might have to get a new chauffeur. You looking for a job?
I already got one, lady.
Timmy's going to be awfully upset when he finds out what happened to him. When someone works for me, they have to be perfect. Want his job?
They wouldn't let me in.
I'll let you in. You, do that kind of thing often?
When I have to.
I suppose you have a name.
It's Regan. I'm a private investigator.
All right, Mr. Regan, you've earned a perfectly good chauffeur and bodyguard, and you're in my house. What have we got to talk about?
A guy named Carew.
The prince? Must we talk about him?
He thinks you're dangerous stuff.
So do a lot of people. Tell me, Mr. Regan, what do you think?
About what?
Me.
Right now, or when I'm a couple of feet away?
Right now.
Look, remember, I just got here.
I know. He must have a first name. What is it?
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, we'll get along. It's in the cards.
Pretty fast deal.
I like it this way. Fast.
Might be a bum deck.
Never mind. Deal.
That's the bell. How much time between rounds?
Well, you know me better. Hello? Yes? Yes, right here. You know a man named Lion, Jeff?
Uh-huh.
He seems to be roaring.
Give it to me. Yeah.
Regan, is that you?
Well, now, how do you figure it?
Now, don't be smart. Who's the dame who answered the phone?
Our client's friend.
Sounds like she's a friend of yours now, or maybe you have been doing some road work.
Did you have something to say, or is this the day you turned scoutmaster? I'm busy.
Well, you can stop being busy, lover. It's all off.
Don't tell me you're passing up a fee.
I'm passing up nothing. Prince Carroll called me 10 minutes ago and told me to forget the whole thing, and that's what I'm telling you.
How'd you know I was here?
The prince told me, so it's all over. Finished. Forget it.
I've already started something.
I don't care what you started. Just remember, you finish it on your own time and expense sheet.
You look worried, Jeff. Anything I can do?
I'm called off.
You mean you're out of a job? I got one. Remember, you put my bodyguard out of commission. You owe me something.
Oh, Tim, boy, he'll come around.
I don't want Tim anymore. I want you. I'll get you a drink. We can talk about it.
Carew told me that Tim was a pretty good boy.
You can fill his shoes. Come here and get your drink. Now, tell me about 9 o'clock tonight.
It'll get dark.
I got a new dress. I think you'll like it.
I probably would.
The place above Malibu, we could have dinner, listen to some music. I want to be with you, Jeff.
That deal's fast again.
I don't care. I don't care. I just decided something, Jeff. I'm going to like being with you. I'm going to like it a lot.
Well, she didn't want me to go. But I was thinking about the prince and the way everything looked. I told her I'd see her that night. I was just climbing into my car when Tim Rogers, her ex-number 1 boy, stepped out from the gate. I waited for him to walk over.
Pretty good with your women, Regan.
You look lonely, Timmy. Somebody stole your popsicle?
Bum joke, Regan. I've been waiting to talk to you. You were so quiet in the house I didn't want to make any noise.
Any better here?
You came out champ this afternoon. But you won't even make the prelims next time.
You got something to say?
Stay away from her.
You're shaking. You need a drink.
Stay away from her, Regan. I've been with her too long. Known her too long to take the bounce from a 2-bit gum heel.
Goodbye.
I'm not finished yet.
That's your version. Now get your foot off that running board, punk, or I'll take it with me. I left him standing in the middle of the driveway. If I'd have waited another minute, he'd have been crying. I stopped off and had some barbecued ribs at a drive-in out on Sunset. It was just getting dark when I got to my place. I had company. It was Velma Carmen, Prince Carew's right-hand man. She was sitting on the edge of my sofa. Her back was as stiff as a filing cabinet, and there was a little ring of white around her lip. She looked like she'd just been measured for a coffin. There was a .25 automatic sitting in her lap.
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Regan. I asked the janitor to let me in.
Yeah?
He was very nice about it. I told him I was associated with one of your clients. Yes, I told him I was associated with one of your clients. Did you know that Prince Carroll was my husband?
Since when?
Oh, a long time now, a long time. Not many people know that.
Is that what you came here to tell me?
No. I came to tell you that you don't have to worry anymore. None of us have to worry anymore.
You mean you're calling me off the case?
That's it. That's exactly it. I'm calling you off the case.
Yeah. Well, I've already been called off. My office phoned me when I was over at her house.
First Nichols?
Yeah.
And it was about her?
Yeah.
Well, then, we don't have to worry anymore, do we?
No.
She's very pretty, isn't she? I've seen her many times. I think she's quite pretty. I could hardly blame the prince. I could hardly blame him at all.
What are you getting at?
Of course, all the others were pretty, too.
Where'd you get that gun?
I bought it for $30.
Let me see it, huh?
Oh, yes. I brought it here so I could show it to you. I paid $30 for it. I paid $30. I'd imagine the air would be cleaner in there, don't you?
What are you talking about?
I mean, it's really very humane, they tell me. It's just like sitting down and never waking up. I read all about it. You just walk in and sit down, and if you don't try to hold your breath, you go to sleep, don't you? You've met murderers before, Mr. Regan. Do I make a good murderer? Do I make a good murderer?
Stop it, will you? You trying to tell me you killed him?
Miss Regan, that's why I came here. I shot him. I walked up behind him and I put the gun close to his back and pulled the trigger. They don't make such a great deal of noise, do they? I left him sitting there in his house by the sea, and he looks very much alive. Only he isn't alive at all. Now answer me. Now answer me. Do I make a good murderer? Do I make a...
listening to the story of the House by the Sea, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. They're still available for qualified nurses. Yes, the Army Nurse Corps Reserve still has commissions available. If you are a graduate registered nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, you may be eligible for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps section of the Regular Officers Reserve. To find out if you do qualify for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps Reserve, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to the story of the House by the Sea and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, after she got through, she settled down to a slow, even kind of a giggle that started somewhere around her shoelaces and didn't get past her knees. It was one of those things that gives you a feeling like somebody's standing in back of you with a red-hot iron ready to press your pants before you get them off. Well, she wasn't going to do any more talking, so I went downstairs and brought back a doctor friend of mine named Sammy Wing. He brought his little black bag with him and gave her a shot of something. She wilted like last night's orchid and went to sleep on my couch. Sammy began talking.
Some playmate. Wish I'd have been here for the party. I had 4 appendectomies and 1 broken leg today. It's a dull life.
Well, how is she?
You know her better than me.
No, she's going to be all right.
But she'll wake up in 5 or 6 hours and want some water.
And then what?
She might ask you what happened, or it might start all over again, whatever it was. By the way, what was it?
Well, I found her here when I got home.
I should find something like this.
She said she killed an ex-client of mine.
Oh, maybe I'm lucky at that. What does all the past tense mean?
I was called off the case.
Oh, nice. It's all clean. No clients to protect. Is there a court someplace?
I don't know, Sammy.
Call the police. They'll find out. And then you and me can go out and get a drink.
She said she used this gun. Smell it, Sammy. It hasn't been fired. Safety catch is still on.
She's pretty and she's nice, and I'll bet she looks like $1 million in a bathing suit. But if I'd have met her within the last 3 hours, I'd have run for help. Call the police.
Is that professional?
This is acute hysteria. The kind that pops off guns and pops off people, and there's a lot of things they can't remember later on. Call the police.
What about the gun?
What a gun? Call the coroner while you're at it. Tell him to go out there with some DOA forms. He'll use them.
Would you stay here with her till I get back?
Corpse hunt?
Just an idea.
Hitler had an idea.
The odds were against him.
You got about as much chance as a 3-legged horse in the Kentucky Derby. She's bit somebody, and she's told you about it.
I want to make sure.
What do they do when a private eye walks in and messes up a nice, clean murder?
Sammy, will you stay?
Had any bourbon around here?
Yeah.
Okay, take your time. Maybe both of us will get our pictures in the paper.
I left him with a kind of a soft smile on his face, like he had some inside information on Tuesday's winner at Del Mar. Well, it was 9:30 by the time I got there, and it was dark enough to give a ghost the creeps. It was different, too. Maybe it was the fog. I used that ring of keys I'd taken from her purse. It smelled dry and funny inside, and it was real quiet, like somebody was waiting for the world to fall apart. I clicked on my flashlight, and I walked down the long hall to his office. He was there, just like she said. There were 3 holes in the front of his shirt, but it wasn't the laundry's fault. I spotted the .38 on the floor by his hand. I broke it, and 3 cartridges came out. It was the right gun for the job. He was pretty messed up. While I was standing there trying to figure Velma Carmen's story, the lights came on. A fat man wearing a sheriff's star was standing by the switch. There was a taller man in a brown overcoat next to him. They both looked like they'd just finished dinner.
Scavenger hunt, son? You don't talk, Charlie.
Ain't much for him to say, is there, Cap?
Guess not. Well, son?
Oh, it looks like you're going to be calling me names.
What do you like best? Killer, murder, or slayer? The papers use slayer a lot.
I don't like any of them.
Kind of breezy for a hot boy, ain't you? Mind giving me a name?
It's Regan. I'm a private detective.
It's Regan. He's a private detective, Cap.
Yeah. Got a card or something with you, son?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. With International. Lion still there?
Yeah.
Who's that?
An old bum I used to know. Regan, why do you go around killing people? The Lion will be mad.
Look, this is a fix.
Now, why do you want to say a thing like that?
Somebody tip you?
Phone call a little while ago.
Huh?
Funny kind of a voice, a whisper. Said we'd find a stiff up here, but didn't say we'd find you.
You're extra.
Look, I just came here to see what it was all about.
Same thing we did. Only we come up with a suspect and a corpse. No cop could ask for anything better. Charlie, better call a coroner. Oceantown's just a small place, Regan. Only me and Charlie around. We borrow from the county when we get something like this.
I can find you a real answer in an hour.
You let me and Charlie worry about that. You look good enough for the time being. All right, son. Let's go.
I had as much chance as an elephant in a tea room, and if those two locked me up and booked me. So I leaned back into his gun and spun around and knocked his wrist down. He pulled the trigger. By that time, I flicked the light switch and was out the door. I didn't run for my car. I cut across the driveway and doubled back up the hill. I could hear him yelling and shooting out in the dark. I hailed a cab about 5 blocks away, and he took me to the place above Malibu. I found her in a booth with a piano player. She was wearing one of those black strapless things, and it was worrying a couple of bald-headed guys sitting at the bar.
You're late, Jeff. We said 9 o'clock. I had 3 drinks all alone. You want me to get mad, or are you going to catch up?
How long you been here?
You sound like you're out of the mood. I thought we were going to look at the stars together.
How long you been here?
It's 9 o'clock. What's the matter?
I've been working tonight.
Well, it's after hours now. Tell me how you like my new dress.
It's the right color with the wrong cut for a funeral.
I haven't read the obituaries today.
It'll be in tomorrow's paper, only it'll make the front page.
Have a drink? Let's wait for tomorrow.
Your friend was killed tonight.
What friend?
Carew.
He was no friend of mine. I told you that.
So did he.
Car smash up, or did he fall off his house?
38.
We didn't talk about him this afternoon. Let's not start now.
Look, 2 cops in Oceantown are kind of crowding me. They think I'm going to take a good picture.
Is that why you're late?
It's a murder rap, lady.
We should have had dinner together.
They'll be knocking down your door in the morning.
Why, darling?
Because you threatened to kill him, because he hired me to call you off.
Oh, wait a moment, Jeff. You've been having fun up to now. Who told you that?
Why do you think he sent me over today to sell magazines?
I never found out you were called off. I suppose he hired you to scare me. Jeff, we're old friends now. I can tell you a family secret.
I know about him blackmailing you. And that puts you ahead of me for the cops. Did you do it?
I don't know. Did you? What he told you don't sound right.
What does sound right?
I went to him one day and put him in a trance, only I used scotch. Found out what he was doing and how I was doing it, so I turned the tables. It was good, clean fun, but expensive for him.
You've been draining him?
I thought that's why you came today. That's why I had Tinny around.
Well, some of this is beginning to make change. If he was your meal ticket, then you got an alibi.
I don't feel like stars anymore, Jeff. Let's go over to my place and talk.
On the way over, she didn't have much to say, and I couldn't think of anything. I was all too mixed up. If she'd really been shaking him down, then she figured out. And the girl back in my apartment figured in. Only she had the wrong gun. And then there was a little business that I'd have to explain with the Oceantown cops. Well, when we turned in the driveway, I stopped figuring. Tim Rogers, the man with the guns, was there, standing on the porch.
Oh, gorgeous. I've been waiting to see you. You're home late.
I thought I fired you.
Still tramping with this tramp, huh? I thought you'd be sick of him by now.
For once, I'm glad to see you, Tim boy.
That sounds cozy, but I don't want to see you.
I know where your 38 is.
You're wrong. It's her 38. And it's got her prints on it.
Jeff, he's making it look bad for me.
Ask him what he's doing here, will you?
Just in for a showdown, Angel. You're tagged for his murder. They'll want you. I fixed it good. I can fix it so you can get away.
How?
A friend of mine shoving off at Pedro. 4 o'clock. To go all over the world.
Jeff, if all of this is straight, I'm in a spot.
Relax. This guy never did anything right.
Tell me how I'm wrong.
All right, that tip to the Oceantown cops was wrong. Trying to pile up a scare on me was wrong. Killing Carew was wrong, and this clinches it.
Yeah? Well, that's where you're twisted, Pilgrim. I got a warrant out for you right now. Plugging a murder suspect is something they'll thank me for.
You said her prints were on that gun?
They'll find that out in the morning. And how was I to know? Just happened to hear on the radio they were looking for you tonight. I see you, I plug you. Everybody will be sorry, but it'll be manslaughter and suspended. I worked it once in Toledo. What do you say, Angel? Do I plug him and meet you somewhere in 2 weeks?
Let me have a smoke. Let me think it over.
Sure. Sure, go ahead. Angel.
Well, the gun's empty now.
I carried this for 3 years. I never used it. He deserved to die, didn't he? Didn't he, Regan, didn't he?
I don't know, lady. You knew him better. Well, It unwound like red thread in a Levi factory. Grace Nichols had been putting the shake on the prince. He got tired of it and called me in and told me his phony story so he'd have a good self-defense angle when he finally got around to shooting her some afternoon. He had Tim planted there to keep me from really seeing her. Oh, it was a nice idea, only I bounced Tim and got inside. And then Tim made a phone call and the lion jerked me before I had a chance to compare notes with her. I guess Tim went kind of crazy seeing how well we got along together, and he figured Grace would do anything if she was wanted for murder. So he killed the prince and made her the patsy with those fingerprints. She'd handled the gun before, see. But then I had my caller, Velma Carmen, the prince's wife. She went kind of crazy, too, when she walked in and found him dead. It took 3 doctors a couple of weeks to tell her what really happened. When I told it all to the lion, he was mad at first, but then he saw Grace Nichols' picture in the paper. He asked just one question. What was I doing at Grace's place all afternoon? I didn't even bother to answer him.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan with Wilms Herbert as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS same time next week for hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by E. Jack Newman, produced by Sterling Tracy. The role of Grace Nichols was played by Betty Lou Gerson, David Ellis was Tim Rogers, Lorene Tuttle was Velma Carmen, and Marvin Miller was Prince Carew. 29,000 nurses are needed to join the new Army Nurse Corps Officers Reserve. 4,000 of them, if they wish, may choose active duty. All nurses who receive reserve commissions will benefit from the opportunity for specialized training offered to them by the Army. The educational opportunities offered the nurse by the Army Medical Department will be of great advantage to her in her work. Don't wait. If you're a registered graduate nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, drop a card now for complete information to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. Original music for this program is by Dick Around. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is heard every Saturday at 9:30 over CBS. Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
To hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Dragnet, brought to you by Chesterfield. This is the best, Chesterfield. And the time to change, today. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. You get a call to meet a fire inspector at a burned-out home. There's reason to believe the fire was started by a burglar. Your job, investigate. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, November 4th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of burglary detail. My partner is Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name is Friday. We were on our way out from the office. It was 9:12 p.m. when we got to 2607 West 50th Street, the scene of the fire. No signs here. Just the fire must have been in the back of the house. Huh? Yeah, that's the way it looks. Hiya, Joe. All right, Tom. You know my partner, Frank, Inspector Strader from the fire department. Sure.
Hello, Frank. Been some time since we worked together, Joe.
Yeah, over a year, isn't it?
Yeah, about that.
What do you got for us this time, Inspector?
Easier to show you. Come on back.
All right.
Most of the damage is in the bedroom. Started in the closet.
Yeah.
Did burn through the next room, though. Little girl's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are.
Yeah. Burned bad, huh?
Could have been a lot worse. Neighbor saw the flame through the window. Must have seen it right away. She called us and the engine company got it out before the whole house was gutted.
Mm-hmm. The place locked when they got here?
Yeah. Had to break through the back door to gain entrance.
All right. Now, where do we fit in?
Well, we're pretty certain the fire was started deliberately.
Huh.
When I was checking, I noticed the window had been tampered with. Come here, I'll show you what I mean. See the lock?
Yeah. Looks like it was forced, doesn't it? See here? Screws are pulled right out of the frame.
Yeah.
Glass is cracked, too. Yeah. Any chance your boys might have done this?
No, I checked that angle. The only place they tried is the back door.
Was the window open when you first saw it, Tom?
Yeah, just like it is now. Raised about an inch.
Right. Yeah. See these marks here on the sill? Probably made when the window was forced, huh? Better get the lab out here, I guess. Huh? Yeah, I'll get him.
Phone's in the front room near the table.
Thank you, sir. You been able to contact the owner, Tom?
Yeah, lived with his wife and little girl. Got here just about the time they had the fire out. Took her wife and kid over to her sister's place for the night.
Well, did he know if anything had been stolen?
Didn't ask before he left. He said he'd come back as soon as he could.
Well, you got any ideas?
Well, I'm sure the fire was set. Might be insurance. Maybe a pyromaniac. Thief trying to cover something.
I'm at the task. This is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
I do, Sergeant.
Oh, yes, sir. And you met Inspector Strader.
Yes, sir. How are you? Hi. Got back as soon as I could. The wife and daughter pretty upset. We understand, Mr. Taft. She didn't think about it tonight, but she will tomorrow. And I'll be in for it.
How's that, sir?
About the insurance.
What about the insurance?
Well, I don't have any. I can hear her now. She'll be up one side and down the other.
You don't have any fire insurance on the house at all, huh?
That's right.
How about personal property?
No, my wife's been asking me to take some out. Maybe I would have, but she wanted me to get it from her brother-in-law. Maybe I would have, but you never saw such a one-way guy, always looking to feather his own nest. You know the kind.
Yeah.
Like I was painting the kid's room, you know. Think you give me a hand, or you bet he didn't. So what happens? I got no insurance.
Now, Mr. Taft, we'd like you to do something for us if you would.
Sure thing, as long as it doesn't cost me. It's going to put me in the hole, but good. Hey, what is it?
Would you check around and see if any personal items are missing here?
You mean stolen?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Do you think someone broke in and stole something and set the fire?
No, we're not sure yet. We want you to help us.
Oh, boy, that's all I need. A fire with no insurance and rob with no insurance. My wife's brother-in-law won't ever get off my back, and my wife.
Would you check for us, sir?
Yeah, sure thing.
Thank you.
I walked in here to take something. My wife's yours. And what she had was in this here box.
I'd rather you wouldn't touch it, though.
What's that?
I'll open it if you don't mind.
Well, it's empty. Everything's gone.
Was it pretty expensive?
Well, it didn't cost much, if that's what you mean. Mostly costume jewelry. Her watch was in here, though. She forgot it tonight. Went over to the Crenshaw district window shopping, and I remember her mentioning she left it here.
Do you think anything else is missing in here?
I don't think so, unless maybe my wife's clothes from the closet. And the way that looks, I don't guess you could tell much.
What do you think, Tom?
Well, I'll give it a preliminary check while you're going through the rest of the house and let you know.
All right, fine. Want to check the rest of the place for us, Mr. Taft?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right.
Boy, what a night. Since I wanted to steal something, you pick a place that had stuff worth lifting. Now, here's the kids' room. Oh, look at the mess in here. I just finished painting it last week.
Yeah.
Look at it. Dolls, books all burned. Poor those kids saw that tonight, just cried her eyes out. I don't know. The guy that did this must have had a head full of rocks.
Yeah.
Christmas ain't far off. I don't know how, but I'll see to it she gets dolls and books. Nice ones. Better than these were. Wasn't anything in there he'd take. No, it's just kitchen. Well, right off I can see he made it for the radio. That little portable on the shelf right over there. Wife likes to listen to those daytime programs while she's working. Something more to plan for Christmas.
Wonder if you have the serial number on the radio by any chance?
Never paid any attention to things like that. Anyway, I got a second hand. It wasn't worth much. It played good, though.
I'll take a good look. You notice anything else, Don?
Not right offhand. Say, fellas, how about a beer? Unless that's stolen, too.
No, thank you.
Well, that really does it.
What's that?
Now, this ties it off good. He stole a ham.
What?
A ham weighed 12 pounds and saving it for Thanksgiving. You know, there goes a big dinner my wife planned.
Oh, I guess it's all right if you can laugh about it, huh?
I was just thinking, maybe I'll have the last laugh at my wife's brother.
What's that?
He was coming to dinner.
Further examination of the kitchen showed that about 20 cans of food had been taken. Angus Taft looked through the rest of the house, but he said he didn't think anything else was missing. Inspector Tom Strader said he was fairly sure there were no clothes in the closet when it burned. Men from the crime lab came out and took pictures of the window and also of the place of origin of the fire. A detail from Leighton Prince checked the house. Frank and I questioned people in the neighborhood, but none of them had seen or heard anyone around the Taft house before the fire started. Inspector Strader said he would notify our office of all similar house fires. The next night, we got a report from Leighton Prince. They said the prints they'd lifted from the Taft home belonged to members of the family.
Ray Pinker sent word over from the crime lab that the marks on the windowsill had been made by a half-inch pry bar. On November 10th, we got another call from Inspector Strader, and we went out to 2725 West 49th Street. By 10:26 p.m., we had completed our inspection of the burned interior of the house, and we talked to the owner.
That was pretty much like the last one. Looks like more damage this time, though.
Yeah, done over 4 different fires started in this house.
Uh-huh.
Same entry, bedroom window. Stolen articles just about the same, huh?
I don't get that part.
How's that, Frank?
The stuff is stolen. Not much value to it. Costume jewelry, clothes, food, portable radio.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think anyone that goes out on a limb like this would try to make it worth his while. Nothing much we can check the usual sources for.
One thing that might help us we don't have.
What's that, Joe?
Serial numbers. You know, if people could just give us the numbers on their radios, other stolen property, we'd have something definite to look for. I know it's a lot to ask, but if they could just do that.
Inspector, what do you estimate the fire loss to be here?
$2,000.
Uh-huh.
I hope your crime lab or Regan Prince can come up with a lead to give you fellows something concrete to work with.
With you there, Tom.
What do you think, Joe? Same person?
Well, it might be too early to say, but the fires are in the same neighborhood. Similar M.O. Chances are fair that it's the same one, yeah.
Uh-huh. Keeps up. Somebody's liable to get hurt.
We haven't got too much to go on.
Well, we got a place to start.
Huh?
We know he's got some matches. Frank and I questioned the neighbors, but we failed to get any useful information. Leighton Prince were unable to come up with anything. The crime lab reported the window had been forced by a 1/2-inch pry bar. Within the next 3 weeks, despite our efforts, 6 more fires and burglaries occurred. In each case, the same M.O. was used. We had sent teletypes to CII and all points requesting information on any person who had used the same M.O. The staff's office had made a run. Known arsonists were checked. Pawn shops and second-hand stores were notified, but we still had no definite lead as to the identity of the arsonist burglar. We started a pin map to see if a directional trend would develop. 8:57 p.m., Wednesday, December 2nd. We were checking the map with Sergeant Rex Olson.
Anything new, Joe?
Well, we've got a few burglaries further west, up in here, but no fires.
Mm-hmm. How about the M.O.?
Same. Bedroom window entry, same type article stolen.
You know, this operator's really a wig. Take a look at this list of items that have been taken.
Mm-hmm. Dog food, baby clothes, golf balls, tennis balls, camping equipment, and a phonograph. That's quite an assortment.
Tennis balls were initialed, I think, by the owner. He said he could identify them. Details have been checking playgrounds for him.
Mm-hmm. I guess you pretty well covered every angle then.
Yeah, extra men from Metro and the fire department have been on stakeouts in areas where fires have occurred. They've run down a lot of leads, but we haven't come up with anything to date.
You know, how about Prince?
No, haven't been able to give us any positives.
I guess they're switching M.O. Something to be thankful for, then.
Yeah, but the guy is still out breathing the same air as we do.
Yeah. I know it bothers you, but you're doing your best. You can't ask for more.
Mm-hmm. If you talk to some of these families that have been burned out, and you sure wish you could.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
The guy isn't satisfied setting one fire in a house. He set as many as 6 in one place. Look at those red pins.
Mm-hmm. I'll do it. Burglary, Olson. Uh-huh. Well, what's that address? 1904 West 50th Street. Right. Yeah, they're with me now. Yeah. Burglary, here's the address.
Right. Anything else?
Yeah, another red pen.
We drove out to the address on 50th Street. Like the other homes hit by the arsonist burglar, it was a small one-story house. Inspector Strader showed us where 5 fires had been started. The main damage was in the rear of the building. Entry had been made through a bedroom window. We called the crime lab and Leighton Prince. The owner, a Mr. Clinton Bates, arrived and checked for missing property. 10:27 p.m. We came to the living room.
Well, right offhand, I'd say nothing was missing in here.
Well, sir, it's possible he just didn't take anything from this room.
Why do you say that, Sergeant?
Well, no fire was started in here. Now, we found in other homes, the burglar usually starts a fire in a room where he takes something.
I see.
Mr. Bates.
Yeah?
This bottle of perfume that's missing, you said it was initials?
That's right. I gave it to my wife for her birthday. It was monogrammed LCB in gold letters. It wasn't really expensive.
Mm-hmm. LCB.
In fact, nothing that was taken was of too much value. Why should a person go to the trouble of breaking a house to steal comic books? It doesn't make sense.
And now you said your daughter's name was written on the book.
Yeah, my wife always writes her name Carol on them. You know how kids trade them back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter takes after her mother, never wants to throw anything away. I've had over 100 comic books.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a lot of junk I wish he had taken. And just left the house the way it was without starting the fires.
Okay, we understand. Now about the coins that were taken.
Yeah?
This is the first time that any money's been stolen.
But what did he take? About $2 worth of coins. Not much to help you there, is there?
Yes, as it might be. There are American coins that can be spent. Now, the fact that they're old may give us a lead if somebody tries to spend them.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a long shot, isn't it?
Yes, sir, maybe. But this person hasn't given us much choice. Now, do you think you could give us the dates on the coins?
Well, I can't, but my wife may be able to. They belong to her. Like I told you, she never gets rid of anything.
Mm-hmm.
She got them from an aunt a couple, 3 weeks ago. I told her that since they were old, they might be worth more than just the regular value.
Yes, sir.
So she took them to some shop, you know, where they handle old money. The man there told her they weren't in demand, only worth a nickel, dime, whatever it was. I needed change for cigarettes one day, but she wouldn't give them to me. Anything else she hangs on to. Well, you see the junk around here.
Mm-hmm. You think you can get those dates for us?
I'll try, but like I said, if the person that did this had just forgot about the fire part and carted off some of the other junk, he'd have been doing me a big favor.
Yes, sir, but they don't have that in mind.
What do you mean?
To help anybody. We got the description and the dates of the coins from Mrs. Bates. All officers were given the information. From our pin map, we figured our suspect might live near Cimarron Street and Vernon Avenue. We spent several days contacting all the businesses in that vicinity and gave each owner a complete description of the coins. We asked them to get the license number or address of any person that might pass them and to call us right away. In the meantime, Leighton Prince sent word from the window ledge at the home of the last burglary and fire that they had lifted several clean prints. 5 days went by. Monday, December 7th. The store owner called us regarding the coins. Frank and I drove out to the corner of Cimarron Street and 43rd Place, a small neighborhood variety store.
Ronnie, can I help you?
Police officer.
Are you out?
Yes, ma'am. We went to see you the other day.
Oh, well, just a moment till I get my glasses on. I was trying a new glass cleaner on them just before you came in. I don't see much without them anymore. There. Oh, sure, now I remember you. You came in about the old money.
Yes, ma'am, that's right. We got your call.
Well, it's a good thing I had my glasses on about an hour ago.
What do you mean, ma'am?
When I got those coins. Otherwise, maybe I wouldn't have noticed.
Then you took in some money answering the description we gave you, did you?
The first customer this morning, I guess maybe that's why I took particular notice.
Mm-hmm.
I called the number on the card you gave me right away.
It was very cooperative of you, ma'am.
I'm only doing my duty as I see it. You men are trying to uphold the law, and as a citizen, I feel it's my job to help you. Any way I can.
Yes, ma'am. Now, when if we might see the coins?
Okie dokie, I'll get them for you.
Thank you.
When I saw that they were that old money, like you told me about, I didn't put them in the register. Oh, no. I popped them into this jelly box I keep pins in, see?
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'd better dump them out on the safe.
All right, fine.
I didn't want you to prick your fingers. It's easy to get blood poisoning.
Mm-hmm. You got that list, Frank? Yes, sir. Thank you. Here you are.
Are those the ones you're looking for?
Just a minute here. Let me check. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, that gives me a real fine feeling, like I've done a good deed for the day.
Well, you have, ma'am. Now maybe you can help us even more and tell us about the person that gave you these.
Okie dokie. I can. But there's something I don't quite understand.
What's that, ma'am?
I thought you policemen are generally looking for real bad men.
No, not always.
That's what seems wrong. The person I got these from couldn't be the one you want.
Why do you say that?
It was a little girl, about 9 years old.
The owner told us that when the little girl had left, he'd followed her to a house about 3 blocks away. We gave her a receipt for the coins and drove over to 2216 West 43rd Place, the address he'd given us. Frank drove past the house slowly, and we saw a 1940 Plymouth sedan parked in the driveway. On the second trip, I got the license number of the vehicle. We called the office, and they sent out another team to stake out the place. We went back to the office and called DMV. They gave us the name Lyndon Granger as the legal owner. We checked the name through R&I and found that he had 5 arrests for burglary as a juvenile. We called Leighton Prince and asked them to check the fingerprints found at the house on 50th Street. 10:37 a.m.
When are they going to call?
As soon as they have time to check them thoroughly, I guess.
I was just thinking, Joe, what happens if Granger isn't our boy?
Well, I think it's kind of easy to figure, don't you?
Huh?
Sure. Find out where the girl got the coin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You know what that could mean?
Mm-hmm.
More footwork. I'm telling you, Joe, I haven't put on so many miles since I worked traffic.
You don't have to tell me.
What do you mean?
All these miles you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I was with you, remember?
Yeah. I know, Joe, but after all, I'm carrying a few more pounds than you are.
That is correct.
It makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is when you go deer hunting?
No, Sir Frank, I don't. I never go.
Well, when you're carrying a rifle.
Never carry one.
Well, when you go deer hunting and you do carry a rifle, you start out in the morning, rifle doesn't weigh much at all.
It doesn't.
No, at least it doesn't feel so heavy, but along toward the end of the day,
And those few pounds feel like 20.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is with the extra pounds I carry around.
Mm-hmm. Burglary Friday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
On 2 of them.
Good. Right. Thank you. Clayton Prince?
Yeah. Granger's prints.
Uh-huh.
They made him on the last job. The fact that Granger's prints tied him in with the last fire burglary was enough to get a complaint, but we wanted an airtight case. We decided to follow the suspect that night. Another team was set out to relieve the stakeout on his home. When Granger left the house at 8:09 p.m., Frank and I were behind him. The other team remained at the house. We followed him for about an hour. 9:13 p.m.
What do you think, Joe?
Stick with him.
All right.
We better take him away from home before he and his wife can get together on a story, huh?
Yeah.
He's slowing down.
I'll pull over. Doc, can you see him?
Yeah.
It looks like another twist in his operation. Stealing from that car.
Yeah.
What did he take? Could you see?
A blanket or a robe of some kind. Come on, let's get him.
All right. All right, Granger. Don't put it in gear, police officer.
I'm making a run for it.
Right. He's going to hit that car.
Come on.
Out of the car, Granger. Come on, move. Come on.
What?
Come on, get out. Fast. Hands over your head. Right there. Keep your hands up. All right.
Did you say police officers?
Yeah.
Right.
Get your hands behind your back now.
Oh, I didn't hear you too good. I wouldn't have taken off if I'd known you was cops. That's the truth. If I was you, I'd believe that.
That's so?
Well, I'm just going to feel terrible if you guys don't believe me.
Well, now, that's too bad.
Huh?
We don't. We questioned Granger, but he refused to admit any knowledge of the burglaries or the fires. We met the other team on stakeout, and they took him into custody while we went in to talk to his wife. We identified ourselves, and she told us to come in.
Shut up, Wilson. Be quiet. Don't worry about him. He won't bite. Dog's no good for anything except to eat and sleep. No, I didn't take him with him tonight.
What's that, ma'am?
My husband goes out just about every night and takes the dog with him. Not tonight. He's under my feet every minute.
Is there anybody else in this house besides you?
What?
Are you alone here?
Yeah, except for that mutt. What?
Well, you don't mind if we look around, do you?
Don't you believe me?
Yes, yes.
You have to. I ain't hiding nobody. Go ahead.
I'll take it, Joe.
You want to sit down, Miss Granger?
Why? You gonna be here for stuff?
A few things we have to ask you.
Shut up, Fortune. What do you want to ask?
What kind of work does your husband do?
He's a window washer.
Well, who's his employer?
Nobody.
Well, does he work for a business concern of any kind?
You mean like a store?
That's right.
Yeah, but he washes windows for people, too. You know, houses.
Mm-hmm.
Joe?
Yeah.
Found this on the dresser in the bedroom.
Hey, what are you doing with my perfume?
This belonged to you?
You took it out of my room, didn't you?
Where'd you get it?
My husband?
Could he say where he got it?
Yeah, all night market.
How about these initials here? LCB.
Well, sure, that's why I got to see. He said they were closing them out.
Your husband goes out every night, doesn't he?
Yeah?
Has he brought other things home from this same market?
Why you ask?
Just tell us, has he?
Yeah. What? Something wrong? Did he do something?
What other things did he bring home?
I don't think I'll tell you.
Oh, that's up to you, Miss Granger. It would be a lot better for you if he told us the truth.
How about what?
Things your husband has brought home.
I thought there was something wrong, but he said he got him at the market.
Mm-hmm.
Did he steal him?
We think he did, yeah.
Makes sense.
Seems to, doesn't it?
I was thinking of the perfume. I thought it's funny he'd spend money like that. He doesn't think that much of me.
What's that?
He thinks more of that dog than he does of me. Gave me the perfume, and the next day he put most of it on Fortune.
How's that?
The dog. He put most of the perfume on the dog. You get close, you can still smell it. Look at that collar. Pretty, isn't it? All jewels. Bet he didn't steal that. Not for his dog.
What else did he bring home?
Food, clothes, magazines, all kinds of things.
Where are they?
Food we ate. Other stuff, I don't know for sure. Some of it's in the garage.
You want to show us?
All right. We can go out the front door. It's closed.
All right.
Do you have any children, Miss Granger?
No.
Pretty dark. Get my flashlight.
You know if your husband's had any old coins recently?
Yeah. Gave them to me. Pennies, a couple of dimes, a quarter. I remember because it's the only money he's given me in a long time. You steal them, too?
Looks like it.
There's a key on the left side of the door. Hang on in there.
Yeah, I'll get it.
You still have those coins?
No, I sent the neighbor girl to the store for me today. It was the only money I had. She sent them. Lights on what's that?
Right. Comic books. What was that name, Joe? Harold. Yeah, check's right down the line. This camping equipment. Is this something you got at that market, too?
Yeah, I guess so. You never bought any, I can remember. Wouldn't be any reason. You'd never take me camping.
You know what's in this box?
No.
You know where the key is for the lock?
No. Guess it happened.
Let me give you a hammer. Yeah.
You gonna break the lock?
Yeah. There you are. Clocks, watches, costumes, jewelry. Tennis ball, a couple old coins, $50.
You mean my husband stole all these things?
Yeah, it seems so, Miss Granger, but that's not the worst of it.
Oh, no.
In several of the homes, we think he set fires.
That mean I'm guilty, too?
No, ma'am, not necessarily. Not if you didn't know about it.
I didn't know. He never told me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about him, then it's not to me.
Mm-hmm.
You come in here and say my husband's a thief. Hearing it like this, that's not easy to take.
Well, there's one other thing, Miss Granger.
What?
Not easy to say. The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. On March 9th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Lyndon Frederick Granger was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree, 5 counts, and of arson, 4 counts. He received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Arson is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 2 to 20 years in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Walter Sandy, Jack Crucian, Virginia Gray. Script by John Robinson, Earl Slade. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking. Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. An elderly man is threatening an entire neighborhood with a shotgun. He says he's going to use it to kill a man. Your job, take it away from him.
It was Tuesday, June 15th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. We're on our way out from the office, and it was 11:46 a.m. when we got to Unit 1F14. The police car standing by.
Hi, Joe.
Lloyd, what do you got?
Take a look at the sign. Yeah. I will not live in the same neighborhood with a dog poisoner. Looks like he painted it himself.
And there's we can figure he did.
How'd you get the complaint?
Came in, see the man. When we got here, the guy was sitting up there with his shotgun. Told us to leave him alone. We figured maybe you'd be a little better equipped to handle it.
Well, it might not work out that way, but we'll give it a try.
Anything we can do to help out?
Just be here.
Right.
You make a move for a gun, and I'll have to kill you.
Want to tell us why you're doing this?
My business.
Well, that gun makes it ours.
You think that if you want to, it doesn't make any difference to me. I didn't ask you out here.
Yeah, well, now that we made the trip, don't you think you ought to tell us?
No.
Something to do with that sign?
Might have, yeah.
Well, you better tell us about it.
I don't see how it's going to help.
You won't know unless you try, will you?
All right. I'll tell you what. You come up here on the porch. We'll talk. Take it slow. Don't try to be smart. I can hit both of you with one shot from here.
Yeah?
Might not kill you, but it'd make you pretty sick. That's good. Hold it right there. Now, just stand still.
All right, you want to tell us what this is all about?
My dog. Had her 14 years. And somebody killed her.
Well, that's not much of a reason to sit out here and threaten everybody who walks by your house, is it?
It is for me.
Why?
But I know that they'll show up.
Who will show up?
Whoever done it. They'll walk down the street, and when they do, I'm going to get them.
Now, you know we're not going to let you do that.
I don't see that there's much you can do to stop me.
If you know who killed your dog, why don't you come downtown and make a complaint like you should?
Evidence.
What's that?
Gotta have evidence.
Yeah, well, you must have a lot of it to be ready to kill a man.
Now, we'll see.
Who do you think poisoned your dog?
I don't know, but he'll be by.
Anybody else live in that house with you?
No.
There's nobody inside, huh?
I told you there ain't nobody. Used to be Queenie, but not now. This is a picture of her. Beautiful.
I'm going to tell you something, old-timer.
What?
You can sit there and think you got this thing under control, but you haven't.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Maybe you better take another look. I've got the gun.
Yeah, well, it might be that way. But there's 100 more that are going to keep you from committing a murder out here.
That's a hard word to use, isn't it?
No, because that's what you're figuring to do, isn't it?
How do you think you're going to stop me?
You bring that gun up into firing position, and I'll show you how I'm going to stop you.
All I'm trying to do is to pay back some. I don't want to hurt anybody else.
Look, mister, why don't you tell us who you think poisoned your dog and why? We might be able to do something for you.
Because I don't think it'd help.
Well, why don't you give it a try?
He was poisoned. I saw her come home. I saw her crawl right up that walk on her stomach, dragging her hind legs.
Yeah?
Oh, you wouldn't understand what she meant to me. She was like a person. Someone to talk to. She was a lot of company. This book here, written by a man who knew. He understood.
Yeah, well, all that may be fine, but you got no right to sit out here with that shotgun.
This man knew about dogs. Art McIntyre.
Who's that, sir?
Old McIntyre? I want you to listen. This will explain just what I'm doing here. Hold it. Hold it right there. I'll drop this book and kill you. Now, I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen carefully. Brothers and sisters, I bid you beware of giving your heart to a dog to tear. So wrote Kipling in an excellent elegiac. I happen to be a dog lover who does not believe in that warning. 8 of the happiest years of my life was spent in the almost constant companionship of a devoted dog. When he was taken from me, cruelly but with merciful swiftness, it was a terrific heart wrench. For 2 days I grieved inconsolably. For weeks I walked the streets at night trying to get hold of myself. Yet now, when time has dulled the pain, I can truthfully say that the joy and understanding my dog brought into my life more than compensated for the sorrow of his passing. For my dog taught me many things, as enduring as the ages. Outside of the divine relationship and the human, I know of no influence so ennobling as our relationship with a dog. My dog's name was Junior. He was a Boston Bulldog, weighing 24 pounds, with a blazing muzzle, white collar, and feet tipped with white. His coat was the glossy brown of an autumn leaf. He had a lovable lopped ear that perked with quizzical abandon. He was full of joyous life and never outgrew his majesty. I picked him up in a Fifth Avenue dog shop in much the same manner that one buys a trinket. I thought he was cute-looking. He was then 4 weeks old and trotted sideways with mock seriousness. I took him home in my overcoat pocket. From that day on, for 8 years, he played a big part in my life. He came to understand me better than most of my human associates did. He knew his time for play and my time for work. He did not trespass. His only illness displayed the heroic courage that characterized him until his death. One evening, his mistress and I came home after the theater, and when we opened the door, we missed his welcoming rush and bark. We found him lying on the floor of the bathroom in a pool of blood. When I bent over him, there was a feeble thump of his tail, as much as to say, "Don't worry." His eyes were glazing, and I knew that he was in a desperate state. We worked over him several hours, and finally, in a wobbly manner, he stood up, walked unsteadily to the bedroom, and picked up his play ball, as if to say, "You see, I'm all right." In a half hour, he had another hemorrhage. With uncanny instinct, he rushed into the tiled bathroom so as not to injure the carpet. Fortunately, he recovered quickly from his attack, and in 2 days seemed as well as ever. Dogs are unerring in reflecting the characters of their masters and mistress. To Junior, I represented the play spirit, the wrong and flapdoodle. Well, he was somewhat of a roughneck in his relations with me. But with his mistress, he was always gentle and careful. One of the important lessons Junior taught me was to have more faith in my fellow beings. I had for years knocked about as a newspaper reporter and had acquired that veneer of cynicism that is typical of the craft. That rather smart alecky attitude of having to be shown. Now, I am the average human being, as likely to err as the rest. But I found that with Junior, because of his implicit faith in me, I never attempted trickery. I could not bear to abuse that rare confidence. And this set me to thinking that if we humans displayed the same faith in our fellows, we should be less likely to have that confidence abused. I come to the final chapter of Junior's life with tears that are shed unashamed. As I have said, he was my constant companion for 8 happy years. My longest absence from him was when I was in Europe, where the quarantine regulations are so strict that it is quite unfair and selfish to take the dog there. Junior, like all good dogs, was faithful to the end. He died obeying my command, which made his loss all the more tragic to me. I left him after his evening romp and was away until shortly after midnight. Upon my return, his greeting was, it seemed to me, especially joyous. It was so joyous, in fact, that it indirectly led to his death. Shortly before I arrived, a servant had taken him out for a walk. But he was so glad to see me, and he loved so to go out late at night without a muzzle or a leash on, that I humored him, and we went out again together. At that hour, there was very little traffic on Fifth Avenue, and Junior ran far ahead of me. He had been trained to wait at curbings when unleashed until he received the command, go. Then he would race across the street like a flash. At the corner of 44th Street and Fifth Avenue, I stepped to the curb, looked both ways for signs of traffic, and seeing none, shouted, go. Junior was off at a bound. At that instant, a party of reckless joyriders in a heavy touring car swung madly around the corner, and both wheels on one side passed over his body. There was a jeer of derision as the car shot north with the tail lights gleaming red in the night. Junior staggered to his feet. And as I lifted him in my arms, he looked up with his soft, pleading eyes, begging for the help I could not give. Hailing a taxicab, I hurried to my hotel a few blocks away. But before I reached there, he had died, without even a whimper of pain. He lies buried today in the picturesque little dog cemetery on the sloping hills of Hartsdale, New York. Above him are the green grass, the whispering trees, and a stone carved with this inscription: Junior, faithful to the end. He was a great columnist, old McIntyre.
Yes.
Now then, we'll all just wait.
For what?
The man who poisoned Queenie.
You're expecting him, are you?
You'll be by. This is going to be something different for you two.
How's that?
You won't have to look for the man who kills him.
Friday, see you a minute? Yeah, Lloyd. What do you got?
We checked the old man through R&I.
You find anything we can use?
No, no record.
How about the neighborhood?
Well, Perkins and Henry checked, talked to the people on the street.
Well?
The news we can find out he's pretty near a hermit. Doesn't have much to do with anybody.
No close friend?
No, none that anybody knows about. He gets one piece of mail a month, evidently some kind of check.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to the manager at the grocery down the street. Collins does all his shopping there.
What do you have to say about that check?
It's from an insurance company, some kind of annuity.
Anything else?
No, rest of the book's empty.
Mm.
Now, where do we go from here?
Find some way to get that gun away from him.
Any ideas?
Well, if we could find the poisoner, it might give us a break.
If there is a poisoner?
No, Lloyd, I believe him. Anyway, it won't do any harm to shake the neighborhood. If we pick the guy up, maybe the old man will settle down.
It's a big job.
Yeah, well, that's a big gun. 12:07 p.m. We contacted the office and made arrangements for additional cars to start a thorough search of the area. It was just an outside chance that the dog poisoner might still be in the neighborhood somewhere. The crowd on the sidewalk had gotten larger, and the uniformed officers were having trouble keeping order. While I was talking to the office, a middle-aged woman broke through the lines and ran toward the porch and Peter Collins.
Pete! Pete Collins!
All right, hold it right there, lady.
He's a friend of mine.
Yeah, well, he won't be if he pulls the trigger on that gun.
What are you trying to do, Pete Collins?
What?
What are you doing to our street?
I don't know what you mean.
We were all sorry when Queenie died. Wasn't anybody on the street didn't want to do something.
That's nice of you.
You sit here with that gun trying to turn this street into a shooting gallery and none of us are with you.
You know why I'm doing it.
That don't make it right. We had a meeting last night. All the people in the neighborhood. Tried to think what to do about getting you another dog.
I don't want no other dog.
Grow up. Put that gun away and grow up.
You get out of here. Right now. You get out of here and tell your friends that I don't need them. None of them. You go tell them that, will you?
All right, come on. I'll be over here.
Joe?
Yeah.
Just talked to the office. They're sending out more men, gas guns.
Anything on the poisoner?
No, still looking.
Lady, what do you know about him?
Oh, I lived next door for 16 years.
You live alone all that time?
Yeah. I think he was married before he moved here.
Yeah.
All he had was that old dog. Just the two of them.
You have any idea who might have poisoned the dog?
We'd all like the answer to that one.
Ma'am?
Queenie's not the first one. Them 13 others. Hardly a dog on the block that hasn't gotten sick. We've done about everything we could. It isn't easy.
What do you mean?
The way the law is.
What?
We checked into it.
Who did? Huh?
The way the law reads, in order to prove poisoning, you've got to see the person throw the bait.
Yeah.
There's none of us got time to sit around the back fence and watch people walking down the alley.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you do see the person throw the bait, you can't just go in and arrest them.
All right.
The law says you've got to have part of the bait. Well, that's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it almost impossible.
You've been to the authorities, have you?
Yeah. SPCA, police. They've all done what they could. Dogs keep right on dying. We've even thought of maybe hiring somebody on our own. You know, sort of a special cop.
Yeah.
It seems a shame, don't it?
Ma'am?
Poor old man. How could anybody get low enough to poison his dog?
That's what he wants to know.
Joe.
Yeah. You better leave, lady.
Oh, yeah. I guess there's nothing more I can do here.
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, this man here, his name's Bentley Mocker.
Yeah.
Uniformed men picked him up in an alley a couple of blocks from here, throwing this over the back fences.
Meat, huh?
Yeah.
That him? That's the man? That's the man who poisoned Queen?
All right, put that gun down, Collins.
I'm going to kill him.
How about it, Joe?
Collins, put it down.
Oh, stand clear.
Better get these people out of here.
Right. What are we going to do?
No choice now.
Yeah.
We got to shoot them. 12:24 p.m. In spite of the precautions, it began to look as if we wouldn't be able to take Collins' gun away from him without physical violence. As he raised the shotgun, cocked it, and pointed it at Bentley Mocker, all of the other officers in the vicinity were ready to stop him. Collins, you use that gun and I'm going to use mine. Put it down.
I'll shoot through you to get to it.
Yes, sir, you're going to have to.
What's going on here? You got no right to do this to me?
How about it? Did you poison his dog?
He's crazy. He'll kill me if he gets a chance.
Just answer me. Did you poison his dog?
What if I did?
Answer the question, mister.
All right, I did. I poisoned him.
You've been dropping poisoned meat all over this neighborhood, haven't you?
There ain't anything you can do about it.
14 dogs killed around here. Did you do it?
Pets, that's how they are. Good riddance.
That's the way it looks to you, does it?
Sure. Rooting around the yard, barking and yowling. No good, any of them.
You all through?
I could go on for hours about them. Had my way, I'd get rid of them all.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Those dogs meant a lot to the people who lost them. That old man sitting up there on the porch, to him, that dog was part of his life. What gives you the right to sneak around back alleys and side yards and kill off a pet that belongs to a child or an old man?
I don't have to stand around here and listen to you.
No, sir, you don't. Lloyd?
Yeah, Joe.
Take him downtown.
What for? You got no law to hold me?
Yeah, well, maybe we can find one.
In the way you talk, you think dogs are better than humans.
In your case, they are.
Come on, let's go.
Frank.
Yeah?
Tell him to stand by with the gas.
Yeah. No other way, huh?
Now I'll make one more try.
Right. I'll bring up the heavy stuff.
All right, Collins, it's all over now. I'm going to tell you once more. Put that gun down.
Until I get one chance at that poisoner.
He's gone. He's downtown. Now, this is the last time. Put it down.
I don't care anymore.
It's up to you. We've done all we can.
That man ought to die.
Put the gun down.
I don't care anymore. I'd just as soon shoot you.
Collins, it's all over. Now put that gun down and we'll take it away from you.
Joe. Joe.
Yeah, take a look. What's the kid want here?
Well, look. Note pinned to his coat.
Policeman, maybe this will help. And I read it. Did you read this?
Yeah.
Well, we'll give it a try.
Collins, the boy here wants to see you.
I don't want to talk to anybody.
You might want to see him.
Who is it?
What's your name, son?
Davy!
Davy.
Oh, I know him. It's okay. Let him come up.
Not as long as you got that gun. Now, how about it?
All right.
Break it. Take the shells out. Now, toss them down there on the lawn. Now, let that gun slide down the porch steps. Come on. All right, son. Come ahead.
Davy? What'd you want to see me about?
Ma said I should give you this note.
What's in it?
Well, now, the quickest way to find that out is to read it, isn't it?
My dear Mr. Collins, as you well know, all of your neighbors are dreadfully sorry you lost your queenie. I know this one may never take her place, but please give her the chance. Oh, yes, it's a little girl. Your neighbor, Mrs. Tom Evans.
You want to see the puppy?
Well...
Come on, son. Let's unzip your jacket here.
Here.
Okay.
It's a little girl. Just a puppy.
That's right.
Yeah. Queenie's collar doesn't fit too good.
Mm-hmm.
Think I'll have to get another one.
No, I wouldn't worry about that.
Huh?
She'll grow into that one.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 12th, trial was held in Division 68, Municipal Court, Los Angeles Judicial District. Peter Lawrence Collins pled guilty to violation of Section 417 PC, drawing or exhibiting firearms, 1 count. Extenuating circumstances and lack of a prior record led the court to be lenient. The suspect was placed on probation for a period of 3 years. Bentley Jones Mocker was tried and convicted of Section 596 PC, unauthorized animal poisoning, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Violation of Section 596 PC is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for a period not to exceed 6 months, or a fine of not more than $500, or both such fine and imprisonment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful to the McNaught Syndicate Incorporated for granting permission to read excerpts from O. McIntyre's article entitled, What My Dog Taught Me.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.